Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Got Slugterra Powers and Became Evil movie. Before we start, please go support Diego Lopez 917 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Naruto is a male. Chapter 1: Anger that leads to hatred, which causes the awakening of darkness. We are on a cliff, to be more specific. Below there, anyone who was thrown to that place would be completely dead, but that is not the case for an 8-year-old blonde boy who was still alive after receiving that fall. But you could notice that he had a wound on his chest that was bleeding, while his clothes were completely destroyed, while he was on the ground all passed out, just waiting for his death, or so he thinks. Suddenly a dark portal opened where a strange dark green slug appears while he was walking, while saying, "That was very interesting because now I have the power to transport myself wherever I want. I suppose that after falling into that portal it gave me another power," he said to himself, walking while looking at the place. Until he managed to see the blonde boy who, out of curiosity, approached and using his power began to wander through his memories to those he had when he was a baby, making a dark smile appear from his fangs. "But how interesting that your name is Naruto Uzumaki, huh? I can feel the hatred radiating in you, one that I have never felt before, and I see that you have enormous power and great potential. It is time to pay you a visit," he said to himself to enter his mind. While suddenly something happened. A dark aura was surrounding him, and this was healing his wounds at the same time. He was in a somewhat slow way changing, however that is not what matters now. In Naruto's mind, we can see a red-haired boy all asleep while he was slowly getting up, opening his eyes, which were blue, while he says to himself in his thoughts while he says the following: "Naruto, damn, those idiots caught me off guard. I guess now I'm in the hospital. I can already think about Tsunade scolding me for why I left so late, or Shizen pulling my cheeks. But anyway, what else can I do?" he said to himself as he got up. "I'm very sorry to disappoint you, Naruto, but we are not in Konoha, and I can feel that you have a lot of affection for Tsunade along with Shizen, right, little one?" said an unknown voice while he says, "Naruto, who are you? Where are we? Why have you brought me? What are you looking for from me? I want to know now," he said seriously while the blonde boy was putting himself on guard. While the voice spoke again to tell the boy the following: "Calm down, boy, I can assure you that I am not your enemy, and where we are is simple. This is your mind, and I have come to offer you something. I don't usually give this kind of treatment, but you are a very special case," he said to show himself. "Naruto, first of all, can you tell me what you are exactly? I've seen talking slugs, but I've never seen one like you, much less one that has such a dark shape, although I admit that you look great," he said, somewhat confused and already calmer. "Goon, well, if I'm not like those pathetic slugs you know, I'm very different from them. My name is Goon, and you could say that I come from another world, and I'm here to offer you the opportunity to take revenge on all those who hurt you," he said calmly. "Naruto, I do not accept revenge. It is never good, although I will not deny that I hate how the villagers treat me. I still have special people, those old Hiruzen, Grandma Tsunade with Shizen, Ne, and Kakashi and I," he said with a smile. "Goon, ha 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 ha, oh Naruto, I'm sorry to be the one who has to tell you, but you should know that none of those you mentioned are good people. They have lied to you since your birth," he said with a smile while looking at him. "Naruto, how are you lying to me? What do you know? And tell me, how do I know you're not lying to me or trying to fill my mind with pure lies? So I hate Konoha," he said somewhat unsure while looking at him. "Goon, it's understandable that you don't believe me since you just met me, but tell me something. Do you know who your parents are, little one, or have you found out if you have more family that you don't know about?" he said, still maintaining that smile. "Naruto, of course it is the most obvious thing in the world. They told me that my parents died on the same day of the Kyubi attack. At the same time, there are no records of them. Because of that, I was left in an orphanage, right?" he said, something doubtful while looking at him. "Goon, see, that's one of the thousands of lies that you've been told all your life, until you know that you have more family than you think. But for you to believe me, it's better to show you everything. And when I say that, I'm talking about absolutely everything," he said, so that the whole environment changes. "Naruto, wait, what is happening? Why everything changed? I didn't know I could do this in my mind, although the truth is this is the first time I entered my conscious mind, which seems a little strange to me since I didn't think that was possible," he said, very surprised while he sees it. Goon, in your mind only you command, but I can do it because I fused with you, and well, what you will see will be your memories from when you were just a newborn, so that you understand that these memories that you will see are not altered, they are only yours from your own life, he said seriously. Scenes from the past. The moment he said that, he showed how the first thing he saw was a red-haired woman next to other children, 2 blondes and another redhead, while several movements were seen, a masked man, explosions, until he moved to an important part. Minato, Shinigami, in exchange for my soul I asked you please to seal the Kyubi in 3 halves, the yin part in my daughter Nadia, the yen part in my other daughter Mito, and the body and soul in my youngest son Menma, he said seriously while looking at her. Shinigami, it's fine, however, since there are so many favors, I will have to receive more than one soul to complete the sealing properly. And since there is only you, then you will have to owe me a soul, she said seriously while looking at him. Kushina, that is not necessary, Shinigami, since I, Kushina Uzumaki, heiress of the Uzumaki clan and wife of Minato Namikaze, also give my soul so that you do the sealing just as my husband said to do it, she said weakly while looking at her. Shinigami, in that case I will do it. They will stay in my stomach forever and they will never be able to see their loved ones. That includes these 3 little ones that you see before you, he said to make several seals while 3 seals appear on the 2 blondes and the redhead. Minato, Kushina, why did you do it now? Who is going to take care of our children? Will they be alone? What is going to happen to them from now on? He said weakly and very worried while she hugged her and said the following. Kushina, I know that Minato-kun, but I hope someone takes care of our children, but especially you, Naruto, my little Uzumaki said to take the little redhead in her arms with a smile while he says nonsense. Minato, remember son, you are our firstborn. So older brother, you must take care of your little brothers since there is a possibility that they will treat them badly for having this burden. We will take care of them. Always stay together, he said with a smile. Kushina/Minato, we love you little ones. Please build your path together and remember that we will always love you no matter what path you take, they both said, only to end up completely dead while still hugging their children. From there the scene changed to one where a white-haired man is talking with Hiruzen, Tsunade and Shizen, while they are talking about many topics around the whole conversation that went on like that for a while until someone said the following. Jiraiya, very well, this is what we will do. I will take Menma along with Nadia and Mito to train. The little ones must train the power of the Kyubi, and the little one will make him a great shinobi that we can all be completely proud of, he said with a smile. Hiruzen, but I still don't understand why you don't want to take Naruto away. He seems to have a lot of potential. He was born with more chakra than his brothers combined. Tell me why you don't want him, he said confused while looking at him. Jiraiya, it's simple. I've learned that an organization called Akatsuki wants to hunt down the Jinchurikis, and they will marry them together, and they can't be in an environment, not to mention that the council demands to know the identity of the new Jinchuriki, he said seriously. Tsunade, if what they say is true, then the Akatsuki will be able to go after them at any moment, and the only solution is for us to say that Naruto is their Jinchuriki so we won't make the other enemy villages suspect this, she said seriously. Shizen, but Lady Tsunade doesn't think that idea is bad. Besides, even if it works, I'm sure they'll suspect if any of us take care of him, and I don't think they'll let anyone adopt him, she said looking at everyone present. Hiruzen, in that case, this is what we will do. We will leave Naruto in an orphanage as an orphan, and we will hide what happened to his parents. Don't tell them anything about this if they ever get to know him, he said so that everyone nodded in agreement. Jiraiya, okay Hiruzen-sensei, we will be training in about 15 years, and when we return and they have the level to be a Chunin, they will be able to be with Naruto and tell him the whole truth about it. That way everything will turn out very well, he said seriously while looking at them. Hiruzen, and in case the council does something, I'll make a law that we don't talk to younger children about the Kyubi, that's all. You can leave before someone else sees the little ones, he said so that everyone nods and leaves. End of scenes from the past. When Naruto finished, he fell to his knees on the ground, and for the first time he felt all that anger that he had hidden. Now he understands why everyone hit him and treated him badly, and they never told him why they treated him like that, and it's for something that he doesn't have. Goon, I'm sorry Naruto, but as you just saw it yourself, all of that is your memories and it's a cruel truth, but you deserve to know it. At least I gave you those answers that you were looking for. Tell me, how do you feel knowing that everything you've lived until now has been more than a lie, he said looking at the redhead. Naruto, you have nothing to apologize for, goon. Now I know that since I can remember I have only received lies while my younger brothers are now resting in a bed while I have to be chased by stupid villagers who believe that I am the Kyubi. All my suffering and they were the ones who caused it, he said angrily. Goon, Naruto, humans are like that. Where I come from, they use slugs with powers like me as weapons. They only treat us as ammunition, nothing more. Only very few. I'm not like that. But at least 90% are like that. Well, here it's the same. They didn't tell you anything, just for political reasons. Not even they have trained you for fear of your potential, and I can see that well since you are strong. But I know that in that academy you did less. You learned everything alone. Something worthy of someone prodigious. But you are missing something. You are very kind and compassionate. That is why they have stepped on you without you realizing it. But with my help I will give you a power beyond this ninja world and no one will step on you again. Do you accept? He said with a smile. Naruto, I accept. I'm tired of always the good of all this. I bet that when they return, everything that I built with effort they will take it away from me. So I will be worse than the Kyubi. Now what are we going to do? He said with doubt. Goon, well, I have controlled your body, and using my power we have gone to another place, so get out of your mind and I will tell you everything later what you have to do to become much more powerful, and with that we will achieve new goals together, he said so that he would nod. Out of Naruto's mind. After finishing speaking, the little red-haired 8-year-old boy slowly opened his eyes only to see that he was in an unknown place, but below was a crimson-red liquid as if it were a river, leaving him completely confused as he says the following. Naruto, where am I? Goon, are you still there? It must have been a dream, although that doesn't explain where I am or what that thing is that's surrounding me. It doesn't make sense, anyway. I guess I should find a way to leave, he said, looking at those red waters until he hears a voice. Goon, Naruto, that was not a dream. I am as real as you are, and why we are here is simple. That red liquid is called dark water. My power increase came from it. It is unknown where it comes from. But I will only tell you that if you dive in, your powers will increase in ways you cannot imagine, he said with a smile. Naruto, I understand that everything must have a price, right? Tell me what exactly is the price I must have in exchange for this new power that I will obtain, he said seriously but at the same time with doubt while he sees it. Goon, nothing escapes you, Naruto. If you dive, in some cases it steals all your vitality, but with you it will not happen. Your power will increase, but your appearance will change and adapt to everything you say. Are you still willing to take that risk? He said looking at him. Naruto, I'm going to do it now, at this moment. It's how I choose my destiny and not the one someone else has done for me, and I will kill everyone who gets in my way, and that's because from this moment now and forever Naruto Uzumaki never exists, he said to throw himself next to Goon, generating a great shine while Naruto was changing completely, growing a little. His skin became paler. Now he was green-haired and had eyes as red as blood, while he felt his whole body and could only say, Naruto, I love it. Jajajajaha, I feel incredible, and how much power. Not only that, I feel much more power inside me. We are more powerful than ever now. What is it to do, dear friend? I am eager to test my new powers against an unfortunate idiot, he said with an evil smile. Goon, very well, we are in the Eastern Caverns, so here we will train your new powers along with mine. I will get you a wrist launcher. We will be recognized for a good time for 6 years, then we will go to your world, and we will be training for 1 year, he said with a smile. Naruto, and when I have everything ready, my ambition will be completed to conquer all the ninja nations. For this I will steal and control each bijou. I will gather them all, and when that happens no one will be able to stop me. Ha 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 ha. But before that I will take revenge on all of Konoha, he said with evil. Chapter 2, Training Deaths, New Powers, Fated Encounters. It's been 6 years since Naruto and Goon were in the Eastern Caverns. During that time he learned many things that really helped him become very famous. In the first year Goon taught Naruto about slugs, discovering that he actually had the power to use all the elements due to his fusion. Even so, they spent their time using slugs, training with them, improving their strength, speed, agility, among other things. Something very surprising was that Naruto was able to absorb and steal the abilities of each slug. Because of that he managed to have their powers. Because of that they used the costume with the improved transformation jutsu thanks to the power of a versatile slug that they absorbed. Having another identity called Minato, since he was from another world, no one would know him by that name. He got to know Junjie, who, seeing his potential, decided to train him by teaching him the full slug in a better way by telling his story, and he pretending to see him as a brother. he also gave him a wrist launcher. He met Master Lien, who also saw his potential, and both used to train him, and they had a great time. Another thing was that he learned mechanics from the living trolls, and because of that now he has a lot of knowledge and added improvements to his launcher and his wolf beast mecha. Everything seemed to be very good in the eastern caverns without knowing that something very bad was about to happen. Present. We can see some people walking. These were not Junjie, known as the champion of the eastern caves, with his teacher named Lien, while they were talking on a quiet night walking while they talked about a topic that both had in mind. Lien, you know, dear Junjie, you don't know how much I enjoy these moments of peace, and to think that it was 2 years ago that we defeated the Emperor, ha 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 ha, he said with a smile while walking next to the boy. Junjie, although we couldn't do it alone, my friends from the northern caverns helped us. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't have this peace and I would still be controlled by Goon. I owe them my whole life, he said with a smile. Lien, by the way, now that you talked about new friends, how has your new disciple been now? You know, I'm talking about Minato, his training, even though it's very good and he's quite a prodigy. I can't help but feel something strange about him. For a long time, she said thoughtfully. Junjie, I know, I feel the same way. Let's hope it's just a false alarm on our part. Since on the other hand he is a good person and very kind, he reminds me a lot of Alla, he said with a smile. Lien, although it is true that he has proven to be a kind boy, I feel a darkness inside him accompanied by great hatred, and I have had visions that something bad is about to happen during these moments of peace. I hope it is not true, he said sighing. Junjie, calm down teacher, no matter what happens, we will handle it. Although I need a vacation, maybe I will go visit my friends another time since I can't help but miss them, he said with a smile. But suddenly many explosions were heard in some areas, something that caught the attention. Then one of the people came running while these quite weak and said the following. Sir, Teacher Lien, Junjie have to come. Someone attacked the temple where the emperor is locked up. He also finished off the Shadow Clan very easily, he said worriedly while they heard that and said. Junjie, damn. I'm afraid it must have been those rebels of the Emperor's Sage who remained hidden. We must go quickly before they manage to free him and many bad things happen, he said so that his teacher nods. Then using Yuju he went up on it next to the area where he was seeing that there was a large crater with many injured people, but they decided to go to the scene of the incident. The moment they arrived there they saw Minato who was there, so when they saw him they got off and went to ask the following. Junjie, hello Minato. It's good that you came on time. Tell us what happened since it seems that you had a great battle, he said with doubt while walking to the place and seeing everything destroyed along with many wounded members of the Shadow Clan. Minato, I don't know, when I got here I saw all this destroyed. We have a problem, the elementals are not there, and without the seal the Emperor will re-emerge and that will bring serious problems, he said seriously while they were distressed. Just as he said that, from that big hole an old man appeared who has a smile. While he looked all around while he was breathing all over the place only to widen his smile when he saw those present. Emperor, ha 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 ha, after so much time I am finally free now. I will recreate my empire, and now there will be no force that can stop me, ha 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 ha, he said with a smile while looking at each of them. Lien, that will not happen. I do not care if I have to give my life, I will not let you leave this place. Damn bastard, did you hear me? She said seriously while activating her launcher as well as her student while they see him. Emperor, do you think so? Their powers do not compare to mine, and once I defeat them they will be my slaves again, ha 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 ha, he said with an evil smile while he sees them, and they only got angrier while they say the following. Junjie, I won't let him do it again. Now we are stronger than ever, and with the help of my apprentice we will defeat him, and this time we won't let anything about you or your followers go unsaid, as he gets into a fighting stance. Emperor, so you have a new apprentice. No matter how many allies they have or if they know about the Fu Slug, their efforts will be in vain, and whoever freed me will thank you. Now I will reborn my empire again, he said with a smile as he prepares to attack. Before they attacked, the Emperor out of nowhere began to scream like crazy in great pain, something that surprised them only to see Minato shooting a red beam of great power coming out of his hands while he says the following. Minato, do you really think I freed you? That's why I see that what they told me about you is true. You are very naive. I am only looking for your power, which I will now take away from you along with your immortality, he said with a dark smile, while still launching his lightning bolts. Emperor, damn, it can't end like this. This was my moment of triumph because I screamed until I ended up turning into dust, and this one simply destroys it while someone speaks to say the following. Lien, I see that bad feeling I felt for you from the beginning was true. You have a great darkness, an evil that is inside you, Minato. It is not like that. It is bigger than I would have imagined at that moment, she said very seriously while she looks at him, and he simply smiles. Junjie, I don't understand, Minato. Why are you doing this? I thought we were friends. You are going against everything we have taught you. How are you capable of doing something like this? Answer, what was your objective in doing all this? He said angrily while looking at him. Minato, as always, Junjie, you are easy to manipulate. By the way, Minato does not exist. He was just someone fake who created to gain your trust, and thus have all this knowledge and power that you gave me are now completely mine, he said to have another way. Lien, impossible. That slug is the same one that the Emperor used to control Junjie for 20 years. How come you are here? Tell me what you intend now, she said surprised, just like the aforementioned who was filled with great anger when he saw her. Goon, I see you remember me. How are you, Junjie? Before you ask, I don't control this body, we are connected. I showed him everything about you, that's why he was so skilled. The idea was that the boy would be able to learn for our goals, and you taught him everything, he said with a smile. Junjie, and what objective do you have exactly now? Do you plan to do what the Emperor did a long time ago, or what do you answer? What do you want now? He said angrily while shooting a demolisher slug that didn't do a single damage. Naruto, I don't care, you see, I'm not from this world. I come from a world of ninjas and shinobis. Despite being a child, I was treated like garbage by my own village. Despite that, I still had loved ones until Goon showed me the light and the truth of everything. That all the time for them I was just a toy, and because of them I lived in misery since my birth. Now I have a new goal. I will conquer my entire world and increase my powers. With this he said, showing the elementals. So that he would do the same with the Emperor, listening to the screams of pain of the 4 slugs while they tried to stop him, being blocked by a red force field, while he says, Naruto, well, now I have the power of the 4 elementals, and now without their power they are just spoiled slugs. I no longer have reasons to continue here. Thanks for the training. I will not deny that the moments we spent were good, however now I must fulfill my objective. See you, he said to open a portal and leave the place. Junjie, damn, he escaped and now he has what he wants and he's much more powerful. I'm an idiot. I don't understand how I didn't see him before. Now I understand how he seemed to know everything about me, he said, very frustrated and angry with himself. Lien, now calm down, you shouldn't blame yourself. Junjie tricked us all. For now let's take the elementals to the Well of Light before they die, he said to take them away from the place while they went to another place. With Naruto. This one appeared in the same place where they left him before, being the cliff where he ended up falling while he got up and was walking all over the place while he stretched a little so that his friend could talk to him. Goon, very well, we have achieved our first objective. Now we have to train. What should we do first, Naruto? To start the master plan, he said with doubt, while he sees him, and he responds telling him the following. Naruto, we will be in Konoha. It contains many scrolls and jutsus that will be useful to us. For this I must change form. I will use this when I work as a mercenary. I will use my true appearance and a false name, he said seriously. Goon, good idea, and it helps us see the structure of all of Konoha to be able to weaken it better when we destroy it. I recommend that you be known as Dark Slinger. That will be your new name from now on, he said calmly while looking at it. Naruto, it's a good idea. Very well, I will be known by that name. I will be there for a year and I will obtain all the power I can. It serves me to see the extent of my brother's power in case they become a threat, he said seriously. Goon, remember one very important thing. You must act in different ways when you change like this so that they believe that you are another person, and when you see how people will act when they see you, you will realize how hypocritical people can be, and we will speak for our minds, he said seriously. He simply nodded and changed form to the original, who, as you remember, is green-haired with red eyes, while entering through the gates of Konoha, since due to its poor security he managed to enter easily. Slinger, well, we have learned something. Their poor security has not changed at all, and you were right. Even though I draw attention because of my appearance, they are not the same looks as before. They are bastards. Now it is time to go to the Hokage Tower and be a genin, he said seriously. Goon, I understand if you enter you will have access to some techniques that you could hardly use, and you could use the basics and some technique to seal this personality. Because you use your real appearance, you must be serious and distant so that they do not know anything about you, and crush and humiliate all those idiots whenever you want, he said seriously. When they arrived at the Hokage Tower, there they saw the third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi along with Tsunade and Shizen, who were with him, accompanying him, while he watched each of them while someone said the following. Hiruzen, I can offer you something, boy. Why have you come here? Since I don't think you're from Konoha, right, boy? Since I haven't seen any of you in my entire life, he said, looking at the green-haired man with red eyes who said the following. Slinger, that's right. I come from another village that was attacked by unknown shinobi. Only I survived. Both my parents, friends and brothers are dead, and well, I have come to join the ranks of Konoha since I possess a unique Kekkai Genkai that I know perfectly well that will interest you, he said seriously. Tsunade, but how interesting. Can I give us a demonstration of what that Kekkai Genkai of yours can do if it's not too much trouble, since we must see that you really have one for real, she said seriously, and not very convinced of the boy's words, while he simply remained silent. He didn't say anything. He just stayed still until he was surrounded by many winds that were so powerful as to destroy the walls, leaving those present surprised while someone spoke to say the following. Shizen, but how did you do that? At no time did we see you do hand poses or see you channel some chakra to do something like that, she said, very surprised like the rest who see it, and this one answers. Slinger, as I said before, my Kekkai Genkai is special. I can use the elements without using any hand seals. I can control water without there being a source, and all with just thinking about it, he said seriously while looking at them. Hiruzen, very well, you have a sufficient level that even exceeds my expectations, boy, very well. Take this number and go to the academy and have this key for an apartment. I will also send you money in which you can coexist until you graduate from the academy, he said, so that he receives it. Tsunade, if you want I can accompany you. I can tell you where the academy is. Come. It's very easy, and it helps that I give you a place to live in some places that were said to try to take him by the shoulder being rejected with a blow. Slinger, don't touch me. I know exactly where it is. I already saw some children go through that place, and let it be clear, I'm only here as a way to seek refuge. I don't trust any of you, since that doesn't guarantee me that those shinobis who attacked my village were one of yours. But I'll find out later, he said to leave. Shizen, hey Hokage-sama. Do you think it's a good idea to have him here? I don't like this boy, his attitude worries me. Do you really think it's good to let him join our ranks? She said seriously while looking at the old man. Hiruzen, that boy has great potential, and if he left, who knows what would have happened if he were in another village. Aside from his attitude being understandable, knowing that his loved ones were killed, his distrust is justifiable. I know it will change when he adapts to his new environment, he said calmly. Tsunade, why does it hurt me so much that he rejected me like that? I don't know why I feel this way. When I see him, it makes me feel a familiar sensation in him. I see my little Naruto. It can't be him. I'll have to know more about him another time, she thought seriously. With Dark Slinger. He was walking while he had his friend Goon on his shoulder, watching how the place had not changed at all, and was arriving at the room where he was seeing a brown-haired man with a scar in the middle of his face who told him the following. Irika. Hello boy, good morning, tell me what is offered at the Ninja Academy, he said with doubt, only to receive a paper and read it at the same time. He nodded while he went with his entire group and felled them using his classic ability. He waited for about 5 minutes until they gave him the signal that he could enter the place, while he was the complete center of attention of both men and women while he spoke. Irika, well class, he's your new partner, I hope you treat him well. Can you introduce yourself if it's not too much trouble? Tell us the basics, your name, and where you come from exactly, he said, looking at the green-haired man who said the following. Slinger. Okay, my full name is Dark Slinger, and I come from a village that was attacked by unknown shinobi, and only I survived. I came to Konoha to be a shinobi and maybe get revenge on them one day if I meet them, he said seriously while looking at everyone. Irika, I see, I'm very sorry for your loss. By the way, my name is Irika and I will be your teacher. If you have any questions about something, you can tell me. Now sit next to Satsuki, he said with a smile, pointing to a black-haired girl. He didn't say anything and just walked while many girls blushed because of how handsome he was and other boys looked at him with jealousy, and he sat down without even looking at the black-haired girl, while Irika continued giving his class. Many of those present looked at our protagonist with great curiosity, others simply analyzed him while he spoke with his friend. Slinger, it disgusts me so much to see the stupid faces of those I thought were my friends. It sickens me, and even more if I'm next to this arrogant piece of shit that, to be honest, I would only want to see her at her funeral, I thought angrily, although I tried to hide it. Goon, so these are the children who treated you well, but you discovered that they talked badly about you behind your back, and this is the girl you fell in love with in the past until you heard her say all the things she thinks about you. Really, right? He said seriously. Slinger, yes, and you know what's good about this, I can hurt them. Especially this fool who, if I didn't know her, would want to fight me. I'll show her how strong I am, I'll humiliate her. I just hope it doesn't bother me. Then he thought seriously. The classes lasted for a while, in which Slinger spent his time with his eyes closed listening to the sounds of people talking along with the teachers. From time to time the brunette stared at him and thought, Satsuki, who the heck is this guy? Something about him seems so familiar, that warmth he gives me. I haven't felt that since. No, it can't be. He's dead. He died 6 years ago. I should let that go, I thought while looking at the green-haired guy. The moment the bell rang indicating recess, everyone went to lunch, and he just stayed in the classroom looking around the place while someone came to bother him. Satsuki, hey, the bell has already rung. Are you not going to eat some food, or are you a zombie? Because anyone who saw you would say the same thing? She said, looking at the boy with some curiosity while he opens his eyes while saying the following. Slinger, I don't need to eat. I can go without food for a whole week, or even more, and still be strong, and if you don't mind, I want to be at peace now. Go away, stupid, you bother me since your presence is more than disgusting to me, he said seriously. Satsuki, whatever you want, I was just trying to be nice to you, and if you were the only survivor it must be because you are very strong, and believe me, I understand you. My clan was wiped out recently by a bastard, she said seriously. Slinger, ha 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 ha, don't tell me now, let me guess, just because of that now you think we are equal? At least mine needs several people, instead yours was killed by a member of his family. That only shows that your clan are just traitorous rats that sooner or later would eat each other, right? He said with a smile. Satsuki, damn, don't you dare make fun of my clan like that, and you may try to hide it with that smile. But I know perfectly well that deep down you're afraid because you know my clan is superior to yours, he said something arrogant. Slinger, only I know how I feel, only you think you know. Before I was someone with dreams, hopes, having a blind and absurd mentality. Now I am someone better. I am a man with nothing to fear, and that is a man with nothing to love, he said as he left a surprised black-haired woman. Satsuki, what's wrong with me? My heart hurt when I heard those last words, but why is it that every time I see him I remember you, Naruto-kun? I think I'm still affected by what's happening. I'm delirious, she thought, as she left as well. After the entire break ended, Iruka called them to do some throwing tests in which many of the heirs stood out while the teacher took the floor. Iruka, very well, the next one to pass is Satsuki Uchiha. Now go throw your kunais and shurikens, said to give them to her, and she nods while saying loudly enough for everyone to hear her. Satsuki, listen very well everyone, it's time for you to see what my clan can do, he said to throw both kunais, obtaining a higher rating from the entire group while someone speaks. Iruka, very good, 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, very well done Satsuki, good. Now you Slinger, do not overexert yourself since I know it is your first day, so if you fail nothing happens, he said while giving them to him, and he responds saying, Slinger, I understand, although honestly I have never thrown in my entire life. Let's see how it turns out, he said with a smile while throwing, closing his eyes, and everyone was surprised to see how he managed to throw them all. Iruka, amazing Slinger, you had a perfect score for your first time, you managed to do it right the first time, it's amazing, it seems you have a natural talent, he said with a smile. Slinger, what can I say? Since I was little, I have had the gift of learning everything just by looking at it, and I don't need copycat eyes to learn something, he said with a smile, leaving the brunette completely angry and humiliated. Irika, very well, now we will make pairs to fight for those who have jutsus, they are allowed. Without further ado, choose your fighting partners, he said so that everyone could start looking while some already had them. They were searching for a while Slinger stood with his arms crossed, not expecting anything, until he felt the presence of someone approaching him, so he opened his eyes to see who it was. Kiba, hey, you're new guy, I want to fight you. You think you're a big fan of getting attention, you probably just got lucky. Now I'll defeat you like the alpha that I am. Did you hear me? You're nothing against me, he said with a smile, while his dog barked. Slinger. But how adorable, a little dog trying to get attention. How unfortunate that no one pays attention to you, not even the one you like. Anyway, let's go, he said to walk while he listened to the aforementioned. He got angry at his words. After a while, several fights started, which were boring, according to the green-haired man, who, when he saw it, all he thought was how stupid and idiotic it was to do all this while he talked to his friend. Slinger. These are supposed to be the future ninjas. Their levels are quite pathetic and childish. Most of the girls are here so that the boys pay attention to them, and many of the boys are arrogant. No one is really worth it, he thought seriously. Goon. It is to be expected in times of peace. No one worries about being stronger, and they spend most of their time playing or wasting time on nonsense like love or revenge. However, when there are wars, the regime is tougher. All of them are cockroaches who think they are lions. Ha 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 ha, I am dying to see which of them dies in their first mission, he said with an evil smile. Slinger. Of course, and I can't wait to see that, although in the meantime we'll have fun crushing them all. I don't care who it is, it will rain blood with them, he thought with a sadistic smile as he looked at everyone. Irika. Very well, the Ino vs Sakura match is over. Ino Yamanaka won using her mind destruction jutsu. Now it's Dark Slinger vs Kiba Inozuka. Please come in, he said so they can look at each other. Kiba. Prepare to suffer against a true alpha like me. Now I will use my special attack, he said so that he and Akamaru go into drill mode while they hit the aforementioned who did not defend himself. But something that surprised them was seeing that the attack did not hurt him at all, and he simply saw how both Akamaru and Kiba fell to the ground tired while he told them the following. Slinger, the puppy is tired. At least I thought you would have a good fighting style, but I was wrong. I see that none of them have it, or that they have been taught some ninja jutsu. Without a doubt they are all pathetic. But enough of talking, now it's my turn to attack, he said with a smile. The moment he said that, he grabbed him by the face, and from his hand came out a powerful blue fire that was burning him like never before while he screamed in pain, and just begged for it to stop and made many say to stop, but he continued using his fire while it was for a while until he got bored, while when he finished Akiba was seen with many burns all over his body. Irika. Very well, the winner of this great fight is Slinger. But since you went too far with Kiba, you will go to the Hokage so that he can give you your punishment. You should have stopped as soon as I told you, he said seriously while watching him. Slinger. I only taught the puppy a lesson, or will the enemy stop? He will attack you, caring little if you get hurt. When they attacked my town, they killed them in cold blood before my eyes, friends, acquaintances and family. All of them, if they had been in my place, would have died. I survived because I learned to fight, I learned to kill, and I see that this is something that they really need, he said looking at everyone. Irika, even if you're right, you can't use all your power to hurt a fellow Konoha member. If you think hurting people is just a joke, you still need to know the will of fire that I know is in you, he said looking at him. Slinger, the real joke is your deep conviction that, somehow, somewhere, all of this makes sense. The will of fire is a joke that is only there to make them loyal to Konoha and not open themselves to new things. If I had that will, they say I would have committed suicide because my family is dead. Ha 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 ha, he said with great mockery. Ino, how do you talk about your dead family, and on top of that you make fun of them as if nothing had happened? Are you really crazy, or what's up? She said, something scared by the boy's attitude that although he was attractive, he was crazy. Slinger, I may be crazy, but anyone here can be. It only takes one bad day to turn the sanest man in the world into a lunatic. But anyway, as long as they don't bother me, everything is fine, he said seriously. Sakura, you know that if you act like that, No one here will be your friend, and I highly doubt that anyone wants to be your girlfriend of a serious, crazy person like you, she said angrily while she sees him, and he simply looks at her with pure disinterest. Slinger, why do you say that, Pinky? Do you dislike me? If so, perfect, one less person I have to greet, and I'm not here to be friends or have a girlfriend. I'm here to be a ninja. And this is coming from a lesbian girl who still thinks the brunette Avenger is going to beat her. Ha ha ha, how pathetic you are, she said, leaving for the living room. Satsuki, that blue fire, I heard that people can use a more advanced fire curse, it is superior to me. I must train to be stronger if I want to overcome it and ask for answers about who it really is since that name seems to be a nickname, she thought seriously. Chapter 3 Graduation Arrival of the Namikaze Uzumaki Announcements, and Regret. It's been 1 year since Naruto went to Konoha using his current appearance using the name Dark Slinger. During that time many things happened. This achievement coupling up, he didn't get along with anyone due to his personality. He barely spoke to Shino Aburame along with Shikamaru Nara. With the rest he was indifferent, and simply didn't take it. Important. Kiba often tried to challenge him to many battles in order to prove that he was the alpha of the class, but he always ended up humiliated like some students who wanted to act brave with him, but he always left them in a very serious state, sending them to the hospital 3 times a week. It is worth mentioning that the council and some people claimed for the boy, but he fell them using the law that in ninja matters they cannot order or decree, only the Hokage can. It is also worth mentioning that a certain power-hungry old man tried many times to have his Anbus capture him to be their weapon due to his great talent, but he always killed them. Until the moment came when he appeared before Slinger hoping to use his secret weapon to control him. However, it was the opposite. This happened. We see a Slinger training in a forest in an impressive way while he stopped instantly. While without looking at anything, he said the following. Slinger, well, this is boring, come out now. I know you've been watching me for a while. Tell me what exactly you want and do it quickly. I have better things to do, he said seriously while an old man appears. Danzo, wow, I really didn't think you'd recognize me. So you're the Dark Slinger, the one who has the power to use elemental natures in incredible ways, he said seriously. Slinger, I was wondering when you would appear. I suppose you sent those Anbus to capture me. Let me guess, you want to use me as a weapon for your ambitions, right? Something so typical of those from Konoha, he said calmly. Danzo, surprising for someone who knows perfectly well my intentions and what I'm capable of, you're quite calm, but now you'll be my puppet, he said as he left, taking off his blindfold. Slinger, I think you're doing something stupid, old man, you don't know who you've messed with, he said, turning to look at him, and the old man froze completely, feeling the dark aura of power that the boy emanated. Danzo, but what is this feeling? I've never felt anything like this, not even Madara or Tobirama-sensei were capable of giving off such evil energy. I can't move. Who the hell is this brat? He thought, scared. Slinger, from what I have studied about you, you have a lot of information and a lot of influence in Konoha, so you will be my spy and you will give me all the details of Konoha. Understood, he said with a cold look while. Danzo, yes, of course, why not? And what makes you think I'll listen to you, brat? Maybe you can't defend me, but you'll never be able to control me, he said angrily while trying to free himself from the pressure. Slinger/goon, oh, but of course you will do it when I order you, your mind obeys us, they both said to shoot a ray of darkness at Danzo, who screamed in pain for a while until his eyes turned red as he says. Danzo, what can I do for you, masters? He said seriously and bowing while they smiled to see him while he responds saying the following. Slinger, very well. First of all, I will give you an illusion so that your eyes look normal. You will continue acting and you will do what you always do at night. You will inform me of everything that happens. You will also give me forbidden jutsus that I know perfectly well that you have access to. But first, give me that Sharigan that you have in your bandaged eye, he said so that he nods and tears it off and gives it to him. Danzo, okay, my lord, I will give you jutsus that are in the forbidden scroll along with others that only I possess. This very night. Any other request you want to give me, he said looking at him. Slinger, the truth is, control your dogs so they don't bother me. Oh, and when my brothers come, try to make up rumors that they are the Kyubi. Yes, he said with an evil smile while seeing him. Danzo, as you order, master, I will use my influence. As soon as they arrive at the graduation, I must go before someone suspects that I work for you, master, he said, leaving in a jump while saying, Goon, this is more than perfect. With an ally like him you will be able to take revenge on Konoha very soon. By the way, what will you do when you leave this silly village? You must have a plan after that, he said with doubt while looking at the boy. Slinger, I know that in the other ninja villages there are Jinchurikis, so I will infiltrate, steal their forbidden techniques, and then capture their bijus. Ha 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 ha, he said with a sadistic smile while he sees it. After that event that happened, the council no longer bothered the boy, and he was well known as a prodigy due to his good grades, which were the best along with his ninja strength. He also had fans who were girls that he often rejected each one of them. What is certain is that since he discovered the shadow clone, he sends one to the academy so that he could better train his skills. Satsuki, on the other hand, since that time has dedicated herself to training to try to surpass him, but she was always surpassed by him in everything. Even so, she tried to know more about him, noticing that he had some tastes that were like Naruto's, although she still had no idea if it was him. But even so, she wants to get to know him to a certain point, since it still hurts her that he disappeared and gave himself up for dead, and she could never tell him what she feels for him. Current news: Genin graduation day. You can see at the gates of Konoha gathered 4 people who were going very early to the Hokage Tower. While upon arriving they saw Sarutobi, who was signing paperwork, and Tsunade reading some things. Sarutobi, I see that you finally arrived, Jiraiya, and since they are the brats it seems that they have grown very well, right, since the last time we saw each other when they were just babies, he said with a smile while looking at him. Menma, that's right, you must be the old man, because I am Menma Uzumaki Namikaze and I will be the next Hokage like my father. Really, he, said the blonde with a smile, while he looks at everyone present. Nadia, oh Menma, we just arrived and you're already behaving like that. How come you have no respect? You're an idiot who can't help anything and stupid, she said angrily while her other sister hits him. Myth, yes, Menma and I never changes. Of all of them he is the one who was most excited to come to Konoha. But especially to meet our older brother. Where is he? He said, sighing while looking at him directly. Tsunade, Jiraiya, why the hell did you tell the truth about their parents to the brats as if we were supposed to tell them when they were older or when they were promoted to Chunin, she said angrily while looking at him. Jiraiya, I'm sorry Tsunade, but it wasn't me. Gamabunta told his children, and they told them they were asking me questions, and well, we had to tell them, he said with a nervous smile while looking at them all. Menma, well, where is my older brother? I'm dying to meet him since I've been surrounded by 2 grumpy sisters and a perverted toad. At least I want someone to talk to and play with, he said very excitedly. At his words the faces of those present became completely sad, while Tsunade had a few small tears in her eyes, being comforted by her apprentice, and Hiruzen spoke to say the following. Hiruzen, I'm very sorry that being so young you found out, but Naruto Uzumaki, your brother, died 7 years ago. We didn't find his body and I sent several Anbus to search for him, but they didn't find anything, so we presumed him dead, he said seriously. When he said that, the faces of both children went from astonishment to great fear at the thought that their older brother had really died, but before anyone could speak, an Anbu appeared and said the following. Anbu, Hokage-sama, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the council has called you. It's about the arrival of Jiraiya-sama and his companions. He wants you to come anyway so that he can give you explanations, he said seriously while looking at him. Hiruzen, okay, we'll go immediately. Damn, how did they find out? Now what are we going to do? They're going to relate him with Naruto, and if they know they're brothers, they'll ask who their parents are? He said sighing while touching his temples. Jiraiya, there is no other way, we must tell them the truth, if not, treat Menma, Nadia and Mito as the Jinchurikis of all the ninja villages in the world do. It is almost a tradition, he said sighing as he sees it. Tsunade, now you don't know how much I regret that we used Naruto and told everyone that he was the Jinchuriki when he doesn't even have a connection with the fox, and that's why we lost him, she said angrily as she walked. Without further ado, everyone went to the room where the Shinobi Council was taking place, along with the Civilian Council. While they watched those present, someone spoke, and the one who did so was none other than the old Hokage, who stood in front of everyone to say the following. Hiruzen, very well, if I understand, this meeting is to talk about the return of Jiraiya and these 3 children before they say there is a secret that I must reveal that only we know, he said seriously while everyone pays attention. Jiraiya. When the Kyubi attacked the Leaf Village 15 years ago, the 4th Hokage and his wife Kushina Uzumaki gave everything to control the beast. At the time of sealing, they sealed the power in their 2 daughters, who are Nadia and Mito, and the body and soul in Menma. That's why I took them to control their power, and that Menma is not influenced by the beast. However, the other villages could not know about the Jinchurikis being out or would marry them. That's why we said that the Jinchuriki was the firstborn of the 4th Hokage and the bloody habanero, Uzumaki, Naruto said, dropping the bomb. And as all bomb was a big boom in all the heads of everyone in the room for knowing that all the time they mistreated, hit, insulted and humiliated a child who did not have the 9-tailed beast, and on top of that he is the firstborn of his beloved and idolized 4th Hokage. Hamura, this is more than unacceptable. How did they come up with the idea of taking the real Jinchurikis away like that? They know that if any enemy village had seen them it would have brought us problems. It was very risky of them to do that, he said angrily. Koharu, and why didn't they tell us that the brat was the firstborn of the 4th? We deserve to know about that, just like the boy who I suppose was never told. It's a great crime, since if he is the oldest, he should have assumed and inherited the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans that he should have by right, she said angrily. Jiraiya, please understand, it was essential. I heard of an organization that seeks information about the Jinchurikis. I didn't know if they were going to come, that's why I had to keep them away from Konoha, he said, looking at everyone. Danzo, and how do we know that those brats really control the power of the Kyubi, or that that blonde really hasn't been influenced by the 9-tailed beast, he said seriously, making everyone start talking. Jiraiya, don't worry about that. Menma has a seal that prevents him from talking to the beast, and Nadia and Mito improved the seal so they can control it better as it should be, he said with a proud smile. Danzo, even if that were true, it does not mean that each of them has a part of the beast, not to mention that the Kyubi is recovering its churka little by little, and that part guarantees that they will not betray Konoha after what we did to his older brother by mistreating him, hating him. Those who should have deserved it are them, he said seriously. Hiruzen, I can assure you that it is not true, so much so that they will join the ranks of Konoha to be genin. In fact, they arrive at the graduation where they will see their skills, demonstrating that it was not a waste of time. What is true is that Naruto's body was never found, so there is still the possibility that he is alive, he said calmly. Hayashi, I'm sorry to be the one to say it, but one of my clan members, while on watch, saw some Anbus beat and torture Naruto and threw him off a cliff and didn't look for his body. So that confirms that the boy is dead, he said seriously. Making all hopes that I was still alive, that I could have escaped, go to hell, while Menma held back the tears in his eyes and hugged his sisters who were also crying along with Tsunade, leaving everything in great silence. Shikaku, it's okay Hokage-sama, although you must tell the truth to the people now, since there is no point in hiding it. After all, sooner or later they will know, and it will be worse for everyone who does not know, he said seriously. Hiruzen, I know well Anbus, gather everyone together, the sooner we do it, the less tedious it will be, although more annoying, but it is something I must confront, he said, letting out a sigh from his pipe while everyone left the room. When the announcement was made, and even more so knowing that he had siblings and who his parents were, it was like a bucket of cold water for everyone to know all that, and many, if not everyone, were deeply saddened by Naruto's death, plus his former friends and Satsuki, who cried every day for the death of her beloved secret. And just as he promised, Danzo began to spread rumors throughout the village without anyone else noticing, but leaving that aspect aside, we find ourselves in the academy where everyone was talking about the subject, but there was someone who wasn't, and it was none other than our protagonist. Slinger, I hope this ends. I'm tired of hearing so many hypocritical words. I almost feel like committing suicide. Everything I suffered for 8 damn years so that they would be okay, and now that they've been told that they are the children of the 4th, they won't try to kill them like the times they tried to do it to me, he thought angrily. Goon, yes, it's annoying to listen to them, but on the other hand, they'll come here and I guess that idiot Sanin expects them to be the best, so do what you do best, humiliate them in front of everyone, he said with an evil smile. Slinger, that's what I'm thinking of doing, friend. On the other hand, the Kyubi is a mass of hatred that has held a grudge against Konoha for years. so when Menma is hurt, I'll take advantage of it to try to ally myself with that fox. If I can't convince him, then we'll have to use our methods, he thought with a dark smile. After everyone had finished and everyone was gathering in the classroom, Iruka appears and, upon seeing his entire class, makes everyone quiet while the teacher takes the floor to say the following. Iruka, well guys, we will have 3 new students who are the children of the 4th Hokage. Behave with them, and try to be considerate. They are still somewhat hurt by the death of their brother, whom we all remember, and we hope he rests in peace, he said seriously. When they arrived, they had their eyes lowered and went to sit in the free places while they saw some of those who knew Naruto tried to cheer them up a little while someone spoke. Iruka, now we will give the exam that I will be handing out. You have half an hour for everyone to finish, and when you have finished, come with me and hand it in, he said while he was handing it out to each of them. After that, everyone started writing. Many didn't understand, others just did it calmly. After about 5 minutes, Slinger got up from his seat while many were surprised to see his action, and he said the following. Slinger, Iruka-sensei, here is my exam. I already answered everything. Can I go if it's not too much trouble since it was easier than I thought, he said seriously, surprising the entire class, including the Uzumaki Namikazes. Iruka, I can see that you did it very quickly. Stop now. I rate you very well. You have a 10 as always, Slinger. You can go outside and wait for the rest of your companions. Okay, he said with a smile. He simply nodded, and without saying anything he walked away under the watchful eyes of everyone present. Then someone asked from among all the students who were there. Nadia, hey, does anyone know who the handsome guy over there is? He seems very intelligent, and I'm surprised that he answered so easily and so quickly. It's surprising, he said, muttering only so that his classmates could hear him. So you're talking about Slinger. He's the most handsome boy in class and the most prodigious. The wine from a town that was destroyed has been with us for a year, and has become the best of all, he said, looking at the blonde. Menma, wow, I would like to fight with that boy, although I have a familiar feeling in him. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel that something unites us. It's very strange, something inside me says it, thought while writing on his exam. Already outside were the leaders along with Tsunade and Jiraiya Shizen and some civilians who saw how the green-haired man came out and sat on a tree branch under the watchful eyes of everyone present. Jiraiya, hey, who is that guy? I don't know why, because I feel like I've seen him somewhere else. But he seems somewhat familiar to me, but I don't know from which part, he said curiously while someone speaks saying the following. Inoichi, he is Slinger. That boy came to Konoha 1 year ago. He came from a village that was attacked. He has a Kekkei Genkai to control natures at levels superior to Tobirama with his water, he said seriously. Jiraiya. But how interesting, although it is not him. When I said that I have seen him elsewhere, if not, his slug seems familiar to me. Have you heard anything about that Tsunade? There are some like that, he said looking at everyone. Tsunade? I don't know, even its appearance is quite strange. I spoke with Katsuyo and she doesn't know anything about that type of slugs, and they give me a very bad feeling since they even give it an evil appearance, she said thoughtfully while looking at them. After a while, to be more specific, about 1 hour or so, everyone started arriving until finally Sakura came while Iruka was passing by and said the following. Iruka, very well, thanks to all of you parents of our future ninjas in seeing what they are capable of first, since Slinger got the best grade and in a short time he will pass first for the kunai test, he said so that he nods and goes to the front. Then he took them and closed his eyes while jumping, making both kunais and shurikens collide with each other so that they all hit, leaving everyone present surprised to see his mastery. Iruka, amazing kunais, 10 out of 10 as always. Slinger, you show a very high level. Can I know how you managed to do something like that? What is your secret? He said curiously while he looks at the green-haired man who told him the following. Slinger, it will be because unlike my companions I do not waste my time on nonsense like friendship, laziness, seeing clouds or an idiotic love. All those things only make you weak. That is why none of them will be able to grow their abilities, he said seriously. It goes without saying that many were angered by his words, especially a certain redhead and her mother. Although the leaders had a bad feeling about that boy, Jiraiya and Tsunade thought the same. The rest of the students passed and had regular grades. The outstanding ones were Satsuki, who had 9 out of 10 and October 10th, along with Nadia, Mito and Menma, While they were staring at them, they said, Irika, very well, let's move on to the next test. You must do the clone transformation technique and finally a jutsu from your clan or one you know, or if you have your own, it is still valid, he said so that everyone nodded. Everyone passed by and many of the civilians did so, not even Sakura stood out but not in the best way since she made a clone of herself. That clone transformed into a female Satsuki and they kissed. It was so disgusting that a gust of wind sent her flying and everyone when they saw a slinger who said the following. Slinger, don't look at me badly, that was disgusting and I did good to the world, he said so that no one could contradict him and everyone nods their heads, even his parents did it, and they took Sakura home. Menma made 4 shadow clones and transformed into his father at the same time he made the giant Rasengan making everyone applaud. Mito made 6 clones, took out his chains, transformed into his mother, and as an extra bonus he even copied one of his typical angers bringing back memories of Vietnam to the leaders. Nadia transformed into Tsunade while making 5 clones and used ninja needle art, making everyone applaud to see such a display of power, and Satsuki created 3 clones, transformed into her mother and used the fireball, making everyone applaud you as well. Irika, well, the last one to pass is Slinger. First you must make clones, transformation and a technique of your own or of a clan or that you have seen, he said so that he nodded while he stands in front. He did something that surprised everyone, he tore his own arm, spilling a lot of blood, making them wonder what he was doing until the blood transformed into 8 clones, leaving everyone surprised. Irika, surprising, can you explain to us about that technique of yours, Slinger? I am very curious about your ability, he said with doubt, while he sees him and he responds with a smile saying the following. Slinger, it's a technique I created based on shadow clones. Blood clones are more resistant, and everything they do, I absorb their information and experience because they have my DNA. I can also do it with blood. My enemies can create clones of themselves so perfect that they will serve for infiltration, he said with a sadistic smile. Irika, incredible, although the price is quite high, and he goes to the sick but was interrupted by seeing how the wound he gave regenerated, leaving everyone present surprised while they were going to talk. Then he transformed into Dark Slinger Junjia, who had doubts about knowing what that guy was, but it was clear that he had evil in him, while he detransformed and then joined his hands and said the following. Slinger, wind release void shockwave. He said to launch a small sphere towards the doll. For a moment nothing happened until it ended up exploding the doll into thousands of pieces from the inside, leaving those present speechless. Irika, well, now we will have a combat tournament. Whoever wins will be the Rookie of the Year. The rules are that they cannot use pure ninjutsu, taijutsu, he said so that everyone nodded while they began to make the classifications. To summarize the battles that matter to us, Nadia fought alongside Mito, with Nadia ending up as the winner. She then fought against Satsuki and by pure luck the Uchiha managed to defeat her. As for Menma, he fought against Kiba, defeating him with some ease, after which he had to fight Slinger. Menma launched himself, giving him several blows of great force while they created a smoke screen that when it completely dispersed, he was seen without a scratch. This continued for a long time. Slinger, we expected more from the son of the 4th Hokage. He is quite disappointing and you were supposed to be trained by a Sannin. Ha 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 ha, I am surprised by how weak you are, he said with an evil smile. Menma, hey, don't make fun of it, it's not the only thing I can do. I'll show you the new things I can do that I've learned throughout my life, he said, making a bunch of shadow clones while they launched themselves at him, all angry. He just gave a big dark smile and disappeared in a blur of speed that no one was able to see and hit the original Menma and knocked him to the ground while saying the following. Slinger, the truth is it was quite unfortunate. What's the point of making so many shadow clones if by holding the jutsu sign you know perfectly well who the original is? Apart from that, if you don't move it shows even more who the original is, and as a result it was easy to beat you. I thought you would be a challenge for me, but you're just a waste of time, he said yawning. Nadia, hey you idiot, you don't have to humiliate my brother like that. Who do you think you are to insult him like that? He's very strong, she said angrily, as well as her sister who saw him while he said. Slinger, wow Menma, I didn't know you need your sisters to defend your pride. Ha 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 ha, how pathetic it is. At least I defend myself using my strength to back up every word I say. But what can I expect from some spoiled crybabies? He said mockingly. Iruka, very well enough discussions Menma you used a jutsu when it was just a hand-to-hand test, and Slinger you showed that you analyze before attacking your opponents. Without a doubt you are a great ninja, he said with a smile. For the grand finale to take place that will decide the Rookie of the Year between Satsuki Uchiha against Dark Slinger, who maintain their serious look while someone breaks the silence so that she is all angry and says the following. Satsuki, you don't know how I've waited for this moment when I show you that my clan is the most powerful of all and you'll regret making fun of him, she said angrily, activating her Sharingan and trying to intimidate him. Slinger, and I will continue doing it because you need to activate your dojutsu to feel strong. You are pathetic like the rest of your clan. Who are they without those special eyes? I will tell you nothing, he said with a mocking smile. Satsuki, you insult my clan because of that. It seems to me that you are envious that mine has a dojutsu and yours doesn't. How does your eye turn out? He said with an arrogant smile, while looking at him thinking that with that he fell. Slinger, ha 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 ha, I was wondering when you were going to say it, and do you believe that because we are not equal, he said, so that his right eye turned completely black and red veins appeared while he laughed madly. It goes without saying that many of those present were scared by hearing that crazy laugh, and even more so by seeing the change in his right eye that was shown in a grotesque way as it changed while he said the following. Slinger, what's wrong, Satsuki? Are you afraid? I know that. I can feel your fear. I can see all your fears. Your fear of not being the pride of your clan, the fear of not being able to fulfill your revenge, or that Itachi will come to kill you, or the fact that you weren't able to tell a certain person how you feel just because of your pride. And now you know that he may have died for you, he said with a dark and evil smile while his eye shone. At that moment Satsuki froze, then many memories of all her fears and regrets came to her again and again until she screamed in panic to the point of crying and fainted. Iruka, Slinger, what did you do and why did your eye turn like that? I want you to give us an explanation now. Is it a new power that you just demonstrated? He said angrily while he responded bored. Slinger, that eye is part of my clan. It was going to be a surprise and I wanted to try it with all of you. I present to you the Dojutsu Jigaku no Yona Akumu, Hellish Nightmare. It is based on allowing me to see the fears of each person, and I make them be in an illusion where they live all their fears, regrets and nightmares over and over again. For you it was a moment, but for her it was exactly 2 days, he said calmly. Jiraiya, brat, that technique is very dangerous. How could you have used it on that girl? I dare say it even affects jounins. Of course, for a Sannin that would never happen, he said the last thing with pride in his words. Slinger, so you think Jiraiya Sannin of the Zappos, I can see your fears like not making your own teacher Hiruzen proud, who always saw Orochimaru's achievements, and never yours, not having saved your students the blame for his death, the fact that you only want Tsunade to pay attention to you even though you supported her she never paid attention to. You that you act like a pervert but deep down you only look for one woman in your life and it is Tsunade even though you know that she will never reciprocate your feelings and you lie to yourself every day, he said evilly while his dark eye shines again. At that moment Jiraiya just falls to his knees while he cried to the point of completely fainting while now many looked away from the green-haired man out of fear although he will never admit it. Iruka, well, we believe you, you became the Rookie of the Year Slinger, but turn off your dojutsu before you knock someone else out. And please, can you do something to make your partner feel better? She said, looking at him. Slinger, God, how exaggerated. She started with the mockery of the dojutsu, but since I'm going to do it, I've already committed my mission to win and humiliate her, she said to put her hand on her chest while generating some healing water. When she did it, the girl slowly woke up while when she opened her eyes she saw Slinger, who when he finished healing her mind he told her the following when he saw how she was already up while the first thing she saw was the green-haired boy. Slinger, I see you learned your lesson. Amo Avenger with strange tendencies. Fear is a weakness. You should not feel fear. You should laugh at fear and enjoy life doing what you want. After all, every moment you have to enjoy it as if it were the last, he said with a smile while looking at her. At that moment she remained static because from one moment to another she saw a redhead saying almost the same words while shaking her head, trying to calm down and get rid of all those thoughts while saying the following. Satsuki, very well, I will accept my defeat, but remember this, next time I will teach you a lesson. You understood me, idiot. Next time I will catch up with you, she said angrily and a little blushing while she sees him. Iruka, Well, the Rookie of the Year is Slinger, and as a warning, in 2 weeks the teams will be decided. You can go with your parents, he said so that everyone could go with their parents, while Slinger only went in a jump. Chapter 4: Genin Teens Trials to Become Genin Mysteries and Doubts. The final tests of the Ninja Academy began. During that time the Uzumaki Namikaze's children arrived, consisting of Nadia, Menma, and Mito. They learned the truth about their parents and their brother, but the council fell on them, demanding to know who they were, so the Sannin of the Toads Jiraiya told them the truth, that they were the true Jinchurikis, and that all the time they treated the firstborn of the fourth Hokage like garbage. After that the entire council got angry for lying to them all the time. When that happened, Hiruzen Sarutobi had to tell the whole truth in the hope that the 3 children were not treated badly as Naruto was treated in the past, and it can be said that it worked, since he was not treated badly by anyone in the world. What is certain is that some looked at him with some hatred because a rumor was generated that the Kyubi manipulated the third to be safe from them, and forced him to believe that an innocent child was him so that they would lower their guard and then kill them all. Other rumors that were generated is that the Kyubi are the 2 girls, and that they also use Menma to make them believe that he has the soul, just as they made them believe that Naruto was a Jinchuriki, and more things they spent saying, not failing to say who was responsible for all those rumors. Also during that time, by decision of the entire council, by both civilians and shinobi, they built a large statue of Naruto that was placed in the middle of the village as a way to commemorate him, as he truly was a hero, and many of the people gave him flowers or even spoke to the statue, thinking that he was listening to them from beyond the grave. On the other hand, Slinger felt a great disgust for seeing what they did, and it made him so angry that he wanted to burn her, but he had to calm down, although he couldn't help but make a face of disgust when he saw her, and even more so when he saw those he had once considered friends talking to his supposed self, apologizing more to the foolish Satsuki, saying all those things. Instead, he took advantage of those moments when people were super distracted with that topic and left some traps that would be useful in the future, while he was stealing some techniques from some clans. Present. We can see an already awake Slinger who was eating what were eggs which he had bought in the town because he had stolen some money from the Namikaze Uzumaki family's saved bank accounts that he obtained thanks to Danzo, and managed to get a decent apartment in which he can coexist for now. Slinger. Oh my god, I still can't believe they made that stupid statue. Just looking at it reminds me of my weak self, which disgusts me a lot, he said with some disgust while his friend spoke. Goon. And you say it, friend, but look on the bright side, you were able to obtain several techniques from the Yamanaka, Hyuga and Nara clans since those idiots were distracted by that event, he said with a smile while looking at it. Slinger. That's true, I even managed to get some from the Senju clan, and all because the silly old woman went there quite often. I learned the origin of her great strength and medical techniques that will be very useful to me, he said seriously. Goon. For now we have to go to the silly academy, keep this in mind. No matter who you are with as a team, don't accept anything from anyone. The best thing is that they almost know nothing about you, so that you are a great mystery as it should be, he said seriously. Slinger. True, I'll try to invent some things. What I can do is take advantage of being with the Uzumakis. I have a plan for the dwarves, but with Menma it's important. After all, he has the soul of the Kyubi, which is my objective, he said seriously. When he finished breakfast he got up and closed his house and activated a seal so that no one enters in case someone tries to snoop around his home, since he is aware that the Hokage wants to know something about him, and would make sure that he did not know more than others. Using his great stealth he went to train a little before classes started, since he got up at 5 in the morning and trained for 1:30 until using his great stealth he entered the classroom even before they opened it. I wait for a long time, although I take the opportunity to add some fairly hidden traps throughout the academy so that his other plan will activate it when the time is right to execute his plan. Shino, as always you arrived early. Slinger, tell me how it has been for you in life, besides of course dealing with all the annoyances that there are in this room, he said seriously while he sat next to him and didn't look at him at all. Slinger, what can I tell you? The same old thing, idiots here, fools here. And then there's that thing they're talking about the boy who was unjustly murdered, he said boredly while trying to contain his anger. Shino, yes, I heard it, it's Naruto, right? Honestly, I didn't know him much, but I did witness how they treated him, although unlike the rest, we didn't do anything. Right, we understand how they feel. After all, Our clan is seen with disgust because of the insects we have in our bodies, he said seriously. Slinger, I understand honestly. I don't understand what their objective is by putting up that statue. It won't change anything, it won't revive him, or make his sins change. Is it really just a lie, a blasphemy? He said with some disgust. Shino, I think the same, but they do it because the Hokage feels responsible because the village lied to him, and because of him Naruto suffered all that, and they blindly believe that now that the villagers see him as a hero he will rest in peace, deceiving themselves and the village, but the reality is that they are just a bunch of hypocrites. If he were here he would be so disgusted that he would want to see Konoha on fire, he said seriously. Slinger, and you're not wrong at all, anyway. We have to take advantage of this quiet moment because in a few minutes it will become annoying, he said so that the boss would understand and both would remain silent. After their talk they waited a few minutes and all the students began to arrive. Some of them stared at Slinger, while they murmured many things about what he did in the last Genin test among other things. To their bad luck, Satsuki came back and who, as always, went to sit next to him. At that moment, he didn't take it that seriously, but then she said the following. Satsuki, listen to me very well, Slinger. You may have defeated me with that technique, but rest assured that this will not happen again. You heard me because now you are my rival and I swear that I will surpass you, she said seriously but with a small blush on her cheeks. Slinger, I will only believe you and consider you as a rival when you do not fall for my ocular technique. It made me so sad to see you how I defeated you just by looking at you that for a moment I thought about killing you. Then I realized that it is not worth killing you. I suppose Itachi thought the same at that moment, right? He said with an innocent smile. Leaving the girl silent and surprised but very angry and wondering how he knew about the massacre she committed if he wasn't there during that time, that and other questions were being asked in her head. After that she remained silent, still sitting next to him, while time passed where they all arrived together to the Uzumaki Namikazes who were talking, but strangely Menma was not there because he wondered. In Menma's mind. Menma, God, I can't believe I didn't end up as Rookie of the Year. I think I shouldn't have contained my other power, right? Or do you think, my friend? I did the right thing by doing it? He said, speaking in his head while a voice tells him the following. Kurama, boy, you did nothing wrong in hiding that you can use the wood style. Remember that if you had used it, the council would have immediately gone after you and would have even used your sisters. You won't always be the Rookie of the Year. Besides, you still haven't fully mastered your father's technique, he said in his mind. Menma, I think you're right. What is true is that this Slinger still catches my attention. His abilities, I didn't feel even a hint of Churka in many of his attacks, not to mention that was able to defeat the perverted sage. Do you perhaps know him? He thought with doubt. Kurama, I had never seen him before, and as you said, I didn't feel Churka in some of his techniques that he uses. You have to be careful with him. I can feel a great darkness inside him, and there is still something that worries me, he said seriously. Menma, but what is it that worries you, Kurama-san? Remember that you can tell me everything. We are friends, he said, curious, since during the time they have known each other he has never shown that concern that he shows now. Kurama, that slug that is always on his shoulder has a darkness similar to the one he possesses, and in itself both hide more power than they showed, and every time I have seen him see the statue of your brother he feels how his hatred increases, but that is not what worries me. What worries me is that I feel a familiar sensation in him, and I know that what I will say may sound strange, but that boy is an Uzumaki, he said seriously. Menma, wait, how is Slinger actually an Uzumaki? Are you sure about that? Aren't they supposed to have red hair? Or do you think he's a half-breed like me and my sisters? If so, why is he hiding it? He thought seriously. Kurama, I'm not sure about that, but believe me, he is a pure Uzumaki. I know because there was a time when I was in Yuzushiogakure no Sato, the Uzumaki village, from living with them so much, and that my Jinchurikis have always been them gave me the ability to detect them, but in itself Uzumaki energy makes me remember the one I felt in your mother Kushina, but in his there is a tremendous darkness that I have never felt in my entire life. He seems to be a corrupted Uzumaki, he said seriously. Menma, you say that it could be that he is a relative of ours who is corrupted, but since this is very confusing, I really have so many questions for now. I must try to know as much about him as possible, he said seriously. Kurama, just be careful, That boy gives me a very bad feeling, and whatever you do, don't let him get close to any of your sisters. Never let him get close to you with just one step, it would be dangerous, he said seriously while looking at him. Menma, don't worry, I highly doubt he'll approach him. From what I heard, he's not exactly very social, although I don't fully understand why you don't want him to approach him, he said curiously while looking at him. Kurama, it's simple, your sisters have my churka, which has all my hatred and is very corrosive. If it comes into contact with its darkness, it would cause them to lose control completely, and as a result, there would be nothing capable of stopping it, he said seriously. Menma, I understand, it makes sense, I'll keep that in mind, Kurama. Well, we'll talk later. I don't want my sisters to find out that I broke the seal, so I can talk to you better and be friends, he said calmly. Kurama, don't worry, remember that only you and I have that secret, and it helps that I take a nap and I don't have those annoyances from the fact that we still talk, he said to lie down in his mental space and sleep a little. Outside Menma's mind. Irika, well guys, today is the time to decide your teams who will be under the care of a jounin, and well now we are going to list them, he said to write the teams on the board. Team 7, Satsuki Uchiha, Dark Slinger, Menma Uzumaki Namikaze, Nadia Uzumaki Namikaze, Mito Uzumaki Namazake Sensei Kakashi Hataki. Team 8, Kiba Inozuka, Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga Sensei Kurina Yui. Team 10, Shikamura Nara, Ino Yamanaka, Chuji Akimichi Sensei Asuma Sarutobi. Irika, very well, now stay here and wait for your respective senseis. For now I will leave since I have to check some things. I hope that each one of you does not forget your time at the academy, he said to leave the place. When she said that, minutes passed and almost everyone had left. Only Team 7 remained, who were waiting for a long time, but then Mito stood up and went towards Slinger and Satsuki, who stared at the redhead while she spoke, saying the following. Myth, guys, since we'll be together, then I think we should get to know each other and take advantage of this moment to talk. By the way, I've always had doubts about this slug, she said to get closer, but it ends up biting her hand. Nadia, hey, what's wrong with your disgusting slug? Why did it bite my sister? Ask him for an apology right now, you damn idiot, she said angrily while she saw him, but he looked at her with a bored face. Slinger, are you stupid or just an idiot? Forget it, it's a trick question, since Goon doesn't like to be touched and is more powerful than the stupid slugs of that old woman you know. Besides, your sister is a fool, he said seriously. Myth, what did you say? I dare you to tell me? She said quite angry while her seals shone slightly, something that alerted Menma in an extraordinary way, while he simply didn't care. Slinger, wow, your sister is an idiot, and you are deaf, and if I say that she is because of what she said about us being a team, it doesn't mean that we are friends, and let it be clear that I only became a shinobi for my purpose, he said seriously. Satsuki, for the first time I agree with this idiot. Silly things like bonds and stuff are useless to me for my purpose, she said stoically while looking at them, and then someone wanted to talk. Menma, Nadia is enough. On one hand, Slinger is right, Mito shouldn't have done that. Why don't we talk and take care of his wound? Even if it's not serious, we don't want it to get bad, he said calmly. She simply nodded even though she was a little angry at how those two were acting, but she still listened to what he said, and since they cured her they remained silent for a while until a gray-haired man appeared who had a bored look while looking at everyone at the door at the same time that when he saw them he said the following. Kakashi, well, then you are my new team. Well, my first impression of each one of you is absurd. Anyway, I'll see you on the rooftop. Don't take long to arrive, he said, leaving in a sunshine. After that everyone was leaving until they saw that Slinger was not leaving, everyone surprised by not knowing when he left but still decided to go up. In total it took them around 5 minutes to go up because there were many floors, and when they arrived they saw their sensei next to Slinger sitting bored, each one with their own thing. Kakashi, until they arrived his partner even arrived before me anyway, we have to start with all this. First of all we must introduce ourselves. Do it, he said bored while he sees them and someone speaks. Nadia, with your pardon sensei, but being the highest ranking, you should introduce yourself first since you are the oldest. You almost look like an old man. But above all it is because you are our superior, she said seriously while looking at him. Kakashi, I don't know whether to flatter me because he respects me or feel insulted because he called me an old man. Very well, guys, I am Kakashi Hatake. I have many likes and dislikes as well. I have almost none of my hobbies and I haven't thought about a dream for the future, he said, bored. Everyone except Slinger. He only told us his name. Is this serious? They thought somewhat angry to see the attitude of their new sensei while he speaks again, saying the following, looking at everyone. Kakashi, well, I already introduced myself. Now it's your turn. Angry blonde who has a face that's going to lay an egg, he said, making the aforementioned I have a tick in my eye. That's why while she responds saying the following. Nadia. I am Nadia Uzumaki Namikaze. My likes are ramen and reading. My dislikes are perverted and stupid people. My hobbies are training to be stronger, and my dream is to be the best kunoichi, just like my mother said with a smile. Kakashi. Not bad at all. Bravo, bravo. Now it's the turn of the tomato who has the face of being an empty head and who menstruates with her hair, he said, making the aforementioned also angry for how he told her. Mito. Okay, I'm Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. My likes are ramen and writing. My dislikes are perverts, traitors and emos. My hobbies are training and learning healing techniques. And my dream is to be the first female Hokage, she said with a smile. Kakashi, a big airhead. But what a great dream. Well, it's the turn of the black-haired emo who has the face of pretending to be interesting to seek attention, he said, making the aforementioned angry. Satsuki. Whatever, I'm Satsuki Uchiha. My likes are eating tomatoes. My dislikes are idiots like the ones I have here in front of me. I don't have any hobbies and my dream is more of a goal. I want to restore my clan, kill a certain person, but above all I want to revive someone who is very dear to me, she said seriously. Kakashi, we have an emo avenger among us, this will be annoying. Okay, now it's the turn of the blonde who has the face of an idiot with a mental retardation, he said, making Menma angry, who at the same time said the following. Menma. I am Menma Uzumaki Namikaze. My likes are cool and strong people. My dislikes are traitors. Hobbies are gardening and eating ramen. My dream is to be the next Hokage, just like my father said with a smile. Kakashi. Seeing him reminds me a bit of you, sensei. Very well, now the boy who looks like a zombie from a poorly paid movie is missing, he said, looking at the aforementioned who was bored while saying. Slinger. I am Dark Slinger. I have no likes or dislikes. I am seeing them right now. Hobbies do not interest them and I have no dreams because I will fulfill them no matter what I have to do to achieve it, he said coldly. Kakashi. There is something wrong with this boy. His attitude is not as good as the Uchihas at all. I'll have to change it. Well guys, tomorrow we will have a test at training camp number 7 to see if you can become genin. I recommend that you don't eat or you'll vomit. Very well, I'm going, he said, jumping away. Before they could say anything else, Slinger also left with a Satsuki who seemed to follow him, leaving the Uzumaki Namikaze brothers alone, while they said the following almost in a shout. Nadia, God, why out of all the classmates we had to be with him, especially because we were paired with that stupid Uchiha who thinks she's the real deal, she said angrily while looking at him. Myth, you leave that to the Uchiha. I can half bear her, but we also had to deal with that strange boy, but what can we do? They along with our sensei are part of our team, so we can't do anything, he said sighing. Menma, don't get angry anymore, let's go eat ramen, that always cheers you up. If you hear that Ikaraka serves a delicious one, he said with a smile, while they nod and go straight to that place to enjoy it. The next day. Right now we are in the training camp where both Satsuki and Nadia Mito and Menma were starving while they said the following. Nadia. Damn again, the sensei is arriving late. We have been here for 3 hours and to top it off that idiot is also arriving late. How angry he makes me, she said, very angry while she was making a big fuss. Satsuki, will you shut up already? You've been complaining about the same thing for like an hour and a half over and over again, she said angrily while it seemed like they were about to fight again until she was stopped. Menma, let's see, both of you stop fighting. We have nothing to gain from this. Besides, I think you must have a good reason for being late. Maybe you had to talk to the Hokage, he said with a nervous smile. Myth, Menma, are you an idiot? Or in case you didn't notice, Sensei arrived late yesterday, and it seems that he doesn't really care, so don't defend him, she said seriously while looking at him directly, and he fell silent. About another hour passed and still he didn't arrive. So many were about to leave if it weren't for a Sunshin who appeared, leaving the gray-haired man who was reading his book in a bored manner. Kakashi, Good morning, guys, sorry I'm late. When I was arriving, I saw a black cat, so I had to take the long way, and I also had to help an old lady with her things, he said, bored while still reading his book. Nadia, seriously, that's your excuse, and if that weren't enough, that idiot Slinger hasn't arrived yet, and he's more late than you can be, she said, already very angry, about to lose her patience until. Slinger, I'm here, okay, now we can start this once and for all, he said, appearing behind the blonde, surprising everyone, including the sensei, since at no time did they see when he arrived. Menma, how did you arrive? How was it that we didn't detect you at any time? We felt your presence, he said, still surprised like the rest who also had the same doubt, looking at the green-haired man. Slinger, in fact, I arrived earlier than you. I was at the top of a tree watching the panorama. By the way, I heard that the Uzumakis are great censors. I see that's a lie, he said, bored, while he looks at them. Kakashi, this brat, not even I was able to detect him. I must know what else he hides or he will be a great danger to Konoha. Very well, we are all going to have a test. You have to take off the bells that I have. If you succeed, you are safe, and whoever doesn't will return to the academy and will be tied to a log. You have until this clock rings, he said, to set a timer while showing the bells. Myth, but wait, sensei, there are 5 of us in total and you have 4 bells and there are 5 of us in total. So it means that, he said, looking at those details that everyone noticed. Then he spoke again, saying the following. Kakashi, that's right, one of you will fail anyway. Very well, now you have to catch me. I wish you luck, he said, to leave in a jump while everything remained in silence while someone speaks. Menma, okay, listen, he is a jounin, he is stronger than us. Together it would be best if we work as a team since there is no other option, and maybe that is what sensei wants us to do, he said with a smile while looking at him. Slinger, do what you want, idiot, but I work on my own. I want to know the extent of this jounin's power. Let's see if this one is capable of giving me a good fight, he said, to leave in a jump while disappearing. Nadia, why am I not surprised in the short time I've known him? He's cold, trusting, and sadistic in his fights. I imagine that you don't want to help us either, she said, looking at the black-haired woman who simply sighed. Satsuki, even though it's hard for me to admit it, I know I can't take on that jounin alone, so if you have a plan it better be decent, because if not, I'll go face him alone like the elite Uchiha that I am, she said seriously. With Kakashi, he was in a hidden part, all bored reading his book while he laughed like a schoolgirl for a while until his instincts were suddenly activated, and then he felt someone connect with him, a blow that made him retreat many meters, making him turn around. Kakashi, I must say that was a good hit, Slinger, but you don't have the strength and determination to face me alone. You should have gone to look for your companions since you don't have the skill to be a ninja, he said seriously while looking at him. Slinger, don't act tough, sensei. That hit I gave you affected you quite a bit. This is proof of that, he said while looking at his hand that had blood, but it was from the dangerous guy, while he touched where he hurt him. Kakashi, so you've realized I should get serious. It's not for nothing that Jiraiya-sama warned me about him. If I confide in him I'll end up hurt. In that case, I think I should put down my book and fight, he said, getting into a pose. Then both began to fight using only their fists, hitting and dodging at the same time. This lasted for a while until Slinger managed to connect a kick towards Kakashi, making him retreat. Kakashi, you have a good fighting style. Never in my life have I known one like that. But now enough of these games. Let's see how good you are against this, he said, to make several poses and say the following. Kakashi, fire, release Jutsu Great Fireball. He said, to launch a large fireball that went straight towards Slinger, who was completely calm while watching that great attack. To the gray-haired man's surprise, he was able to put out the fireball that was heading straight for him with just his hand, while he was stunned to see what he had done, and he responded saying the following. Slinger, I must say that fireball is more powerful than the ones the Uchiha has made, but no elemental attack works against me. Now I will show you a part of my power, said with a sadistic smile. Slinger, water release triple hydro vortex attack. He said, to generate 3 water spheres that transformed into 3 vortexes that went straight towards the Hataki while he jumped while thinking. Kakashi, how can he use water without even using a fountain, and more a technique like that and of such magnitude? I must counterattack, or I will end up hurt, he thought while making hand poses and saying. Kakashi, earth release earth wall. he said while creating an earth wall that covered him, while the wall was almost completely destroyed by the attack, leaving the Jounin surprised beyond measure. Slinger, it was good although not enough. I think it's time to act, he said to disappear while giving him a big kick that made him step back while walking calmly towards him. Kakashi, I see that what they have said about you is true. You can handle the elements at incredible levels. You are quite interesting. You are a great prodigy, he said seriously as he got up from the blow. Slinger, you know this is quite fun. I want to fight, but I want you to use that Sharingan that you have saved. Show me all your strength. I really want to feel the heat of a great fight, said with a smile. Kakashi, I really don't know how you knew about this, but I will fulfill your wish. I just hope you don't regret it afterwards, he said, raising his hand and showing his Sharingan, while he had a serious face. In doing so, he launched himself at great speed, connecting several blows and some scratches with the kunais and shurikens that hit them fully, while with a final blow he finished, sending him flying with a kick. Kakashi, I see that you couldn't handle this. I won't deny that you are strong, however you are quite confident in your power, believing that you could beat me. That attitude won't get you anywhere good. You should have asked your teammates for help, he said seriously. Ha ho ha ho ha ho ha ho ha ho ha ho ha ha ha, said a voice that was laughing that made the blood of everyone who heard that chilling laugh freeze, only to see the green-haired man get up little by little with his hair covering his eyes and then say, Slinger, ha 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 ha, that was magnificent, Kakashi, a great show of strength, but tell me, have you ever known true despair? He said to look up, showing his red eyes shining covered in darkness, and gave him a crazy smile. At that moment, all those who saw that dark eye with red immediately fell under its great power, while Kakashi was trembling a little from seeing that look. While someone speaks. Slinger, what's wrong with you? Kakashi Hatake, son of the White Fang and the only disciple of the fourth Hokage. His own father was so cowardly that he committed suicide in front of him. How did that make you feel? Or how did the fact that Obito Uchiha gave his life to save you and gave you that left eye make you feel? And the only thing he asked you to do was take care of Rin, and the first thing you did was kill her? He said with a sadistic smile as he walked towards him. Kakashi, wait, no, I didn't want to do it. It was an accident. She crossed the road. She wanted to die to save Konoha, he said, denying several times while tears fell from his eyes as he continued. Slinger, oh, and on top of that, you were so selfish, knowing that Obito liked Rin, that you were secretly dating her, and that you were not able to tell her or save your own master along with his wife during the attack, and to top it off, you were not able to protect his firstborn, he said with a dark smile. The tension was so great that he finally fainted, which he took advantage of to grab the 3 bells, and when he looked around he saw that the 3 genin had also fainted while someone spoke. Goon, but what a surprise, it seems your dojutsu is so powerful that it affects all the people who see it directly. I thought it only affected one person at a time. What a nice surprise, he said with a smile. Slinger, I know, and seeing them in that state gave me a great idea which we can have fun with, he said with a dark smile while deactivating his eye and then taking the 4 unconscious. 30 minutes later. Everyone was waking up while they tried to move, noticing that they were next to their Jounin, who was just getting up, waking up while a Slinger is seen with a smile. Slinger, good morning, lazy old ladies, but what's wrong with you? We were supposed to be in a test. It's not a contest to see who fell asleep first, because if we go like that, I think I lost, he said with a smile while. Nadia, what are we doing here and why did you tie us up, idiot? Let us go, she said angrily, trying to free herself like some of them, making the green-haired man laugh when he saw that while he said the following. Slinger, after finishing off Sensei, I realized that some idiots saw my eye and fell under his power of nightmares. I'm surprised that even you did it since you're aware of his power, he said with a smile looking at the black-haired girl. Kakashi, I can barely move very well. Slinger, you won. I suppose you got all the bells. Tell me, who are you going to give the other 2 to, he said seriously while he looks at him and waits for the boy's answer. Slinger, nobody, because I would give it to any of these idiots. None of them did anything to get it. I did everything while they hid because they deserve to go on a mission. The most important thing is to fulfill it. If they die, it is because of their weakness, and before you say anything, I know perfectly well that you wanted to give us a lesson in teamwork. So pass us at once, because I know that the council will not accept that the last Uchiha and the children of the 4th Hokage are not ninjas. Anyway, I'm going. Oh, and goodbye, old slug, said to leave. When he said that about the trees, a Tsunade came out who had a slug on her shoulder while she approached everyone present and inspected each one while she told them the following. Tsunade, wow, they are in bad shape, I'm sorry, but I'll have to take them all to the hospital so they can recover immediately, she said while bringing a medical team who had their stretchers while someone was complaining. Satsuki, I don't need your help, I can get up on my own. I'm an elite Uchiha, and we are the strongest clan, she said, trying to get up and succeeding, but her legs were shaking and she fell back to the floor. Tsunade, you have to calm down, brat. From what I saw, the effects of the eye not only affect their minds but their bodies suffer so much mental pain that it causes all their systems to overload to the point of not being able to move. It is very useful for capture and torture as well, but I am worried that it affected their minds so much. So everyone will go with some therapists to see if they can find something, she said seriously. Kakashi, tell me something, Lady Tsunade, you were watching the whole fight we had, wasn't that true? Now I understand where that chakra signature came from, he said as he was carried onto a stretcher and looked at her. Tsunade, correct Kakashi, I was there for 2 reasons. The first was that I wanted to analyze that dojutsu to see what reactions they had, and the second was to see that slug, she said seriously while observing them all. Myth, that slug bit me a little, and because I wanted to see it exactly, he said with doubt, while he sees it directly, and it was also taken on a hospital stretcher while he says. Tsunade, I've had doubts about her for a long time, and I wanted Katsuyo to see that slug with her own eyes so that she could give me an answer if she knows it from somewhere, she said seriously while looking at the slug on her shoulder. Katsuyo, and I have no idea who exactly that slug is. I've never seen it. What I do feel is an evil, darkness, and bloodlust similar to what that boy emanates, she said seriously as she sees them all. Nadia, now that I remember, he said it has a name, Goon. That's the name of that slug, although that name is strange. I don't know what it really means or where it's from, she said thoughtfully while she looks at them all. What none of them knew is that a part of the sky was Slinger watching and listening to the whole place, and can fly thanks to the anti-gravity technology that he managed to obtain from his trip in the Eastern Caverns. Goon, so those idiots are suspecting us, you know it's very adorable to see their useless attempt to know a lot about us, he said with a smile while looking at the whole landscape while this. Slinger, but none of them have any idea what I plan to do. Soon Konoha will know the revenge of a ghost from the past who is about to see this village burn, he said with a dark smile. Chapter 5 Infiltration Mission Massacre Doubts and Unexpected Approach. It's been 1 month since his mission was. During that time they spent dedicating themselves to doing D-rank missions because that's how they should start in all of them. Slinger finished them with simplicity and left the place, something that his sensei didn't like since he always worked alone and was capable of leaving his companions aside. A thought that he had before, and for that reason he knows that he shouldn't guide him on the right path. So they did a C-rank mission where they had to escort a builder to his house, something that would be simple, in quotes. Everything there they met with renegade ninjas explaining their situation, that they were controlled by a tyrant called Gojo. These still did the mission, in which they learned some techniques. They even had a fight in which Slinger showed no mercy for anything, and it was worse when Gojo betrayed Zabuka and they ordered to kill him. From there Slinger killed them without any mercy, even though they begged. He killed them along with Gojo. While when they retired they named him Slinger in their town in his honor, he was loved and feared there. After that event of what happened they did more C-rank missions to the point where they finished them with a certain degree of ease, of course thanks to Slinger who, in his words, was quite fun to do with them, an attitude that is not very well seen by his team. None of them spoke to him, almost at all. He always remained as distant as possible. Something that Kakashi wanted him to join his team, but he didn't seem to care in the least about the sentimental ties. In fact, he himself openly said that it was a waste of time which generated many problems. Present. We found ourselves in the Great Council Room where the clan leaders were together with the Civil Council, the elders Hamura, Koharu, and Danzo, looking at the Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, who said the following. Hiruzen, very well, I have summoned you to talk about a very important subject, and it is about one of our most promising shinobis of all, Slinger. From what I have received, his attitude has not been the most correct in each mission. He is always disinterested with his companions, and they have tried to open him, but he does not want to do it, he said seriously. Shikaku, Hokage-sama can't blame him entirely since his family and friends were killed in front of his eyes. He lived through a war at an early age, so it's natural that he doesn't want to have ties with anyone. Inoichi, although it does not take away from having that sadistic personality that he showed during the Genin graduation, the power of that Eye of Nightmares is quite dangerous, and I am afraid to say that it is in the wrong hands since one day he will be able to use it to subdue any of us, and in the words of Jiraiya-sama himself, it is like seeing all your fears, mistakes, regrets in an endless cycle of being used better. It would make even a shinobi want to commit suicide, he said seriously. Hiashi, not to mention that with that power, and his way of thinking it won't be long before he catches Orochimaru's attention. His personality is a bit similar to his, so if we don't want a second Orochimaru to emerge with Itachi's equal prodigy, we have to solve it, he said, looking at everyone. Danzo, I don't understand what you're complaining about. He acts like a true shinobi, unlike the others who only think about sentimental things. He has no mercy with his enemies, something that I can notice that very few of the new genin have. We don't need people who solve this with a smile to make our enemy understand that we are fragile. We need genin who see that with Konoha if you betray her, consider yourself dead, he said seriously. Hamura, and I support Danzo, apart from not working as a team, I remember that a certain son of the White Fawn was equal to him for a long time and was quite beneficial to the village in general, he said, looking at everyone present. Koharu, besides, I don't understand why the young slinger hasn't been promoted to high-ranking chunin. He has enough strength and strategy to do it, and with better training he could be a jounin for 1 year, she said seriously. Hiruzen, although I can't deny that what they say is true in terms of level, remember that the chunin exams are approaching and today they are to be held in Konoha, so we do it to show the rest of our allies how strong they are and our prodigy must present it, he said seriously. Tsunade, returning to the topic of Slinger, I propose that we give him a test since he has shown that attitude. Let's give his team a rank B mission, which is to serve as a bodyguard to the daimyo's daughter because a party will be held soon, so they have to infiltrate the party while they take care of her. During that time, she will have to live with one of her teammates, and it will strengthen their teamwork, they say, he said, looking at everyone. I don't think it's a bad idea. On that mission, he'll have to work with someone from his team while the others hide to protect the place. Then we'll ask Kakashi to tell us about how he acted and if there was any improvement, she said thoughtfully. So in the end, everyone was talking and chatting for a while until it was agreed to give Slinger that test while each of them went to their respective homes. Danzo, I understand that you want to test my master. I have to tell him about this. Another thing is that he can use the Uchiha against each and every one of them, he thought as he was leaving the room. The next day. At this moment we can see Team 7 who were walking towards their new mission while each of them talked about what it could be while the Uzumaki Namake's brothers were talking. Nadia, hey, now what do you think the mission will be? Will it be another C-rank mission? I hope so, because I don't like D-rank missions, they're so boring, they're just boring jobs, she said, sighing, very tired. Myth, and you can really say it, that thing about helping with errands and catching that damn cat is so annoying that just thinking about it made me want to hit it, he said, remembering the scratches the cat gave him. Satsuki, I hate having to agree, but with the exception of the C rank that became B, the others have been calm, catching common ninjas, bandits, etc. I would like something exciting to happen. What do you think? Slinger said, looking at the green-haired man. Slinger, I don't understand why I can't do solo missions. You are always a hindrance to me, he said seriously and disinterested while walking, making them grimace. Kakashi, Slinger, I've already told you not to disrespect your teammates. I'm not going to tolerate any more of your attitudes. He said something serious and very angry, trying to intimidate him, but he looked at him in a funny way. Slinger, TKS, it's my fault that I tell them the truth in front of my face, that none of them are at my level, and he already says the phrase if the truth hurts. Excellent, ha 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 ha, he said with a mocking smile. When they were about to reprimand him for the green-haired boy's words, they had already arrived, so they went directly to the Hokage Tower where Hiruzen was, who upon seeing them said the following to them. Hiruzen, Team 7 was just waiting for you. Congratulations because of the C-rank missions you have done, adding that you have completed all of them. This time you will do a B-rank mission. Your task is to go as a bodyguard to the daimyo's daughter who is going to a dinner. Can you handle this challenge? He said seriously. Kakashi, don't worry about that. If you believe that my team can, we will gladly do it, right? Yes, team said decided while the rest nodded, although Slinger didn't care while he spoke again. Hiruzen, very well. Miss Isami will expect you in about 10 minutes. Please arrive on time, and when I say that I mean you, Kakashi said so that the aforementioned nods bored while he sees him. After finishing saying that, everyone went to their respective homes while Hiruzen told Kakashi about the truth through the mission, while everyone went to prepare, and after that while everyone was ready and arrived at the location meeting a beautiful woman with brown hair. Isami, you are supposed to be the ones who are going to be my bodyguards. All I see are 3 brats and a jounin. None of you are in my lineage, she said seriously and somewhat angry as she looks at them. Kakashi, don't worry, Miss Tanya. We assure you that my team is strong enough, in truth. Besides, there is still a member of our team who has not arrived yet. I'm sorry. That's what he said calmly while looking at her. Slinger, I didn't think it was possible, but you arriving early, haha. I hope this mission is more fun and doesn't make me so sleepy, he said passing in front of her, which made her quite angry. Isami, do you really think the mission is not worth it? You should be honored that my bodyguards are simple brats like you, and I order you to change that attitude and give me the respect I deserve. If not, I will tell my daddy about this and forget about being a ninja, he said with a triumphant smile. Slinger, do what you want. I don't care if I can't be a ninja. Here I will go to another village, and apart from that, I am honored because it seems that everything has been served to you on a silver platter, and you don't know the cruelty of the world. Let it be clear to you that we are here to defend you, not to pamper you, he said coldly while looking at her directly. Many tensed up a little because they didn't know how the feudal's daughter could respond, but that clearly turned into surprise when they saw how the woman hugged him very tightly while smiling and said the following. Isami, in my entire life no one had dared to say that to my face. Without a doubt you are not a normal boy. Apart from that you are quite attractive, he said in a flirtatious tone while caressing her cheek. Satsuki, well, I think it's time to go since you should give us information on the subject, okay? She said something angry and jealous of that scene while the woman who said the following spoke again. Isami, okay, since we're going to a party you'll have to go as guests or as waiters so that no one recognizes you, although you know you can be my partner dear, she said with a smile, while taking him by the arm and putting him between her breasts. Kakashi, as you wish. But then Slinger, you're going to have to change your appearance since your hair and eyes are not something you see every day, so it's better that you use the transformation jutsu, he said seriously while looking at them. He simply nods his head while to everyone's surprise they saw how Goon was surrounded by a dark aura that completely covered the boy, having another appearance, being a tall handsome man who blushed all the women. Fernando, I'm ready, as I know I must infiltrate. I will be known from now on and until the mission is accomplished as Fernando, and I hope we get along very well at the party, especially with you, my lady, he said with a smile that only made the women blush more. Menma, hey, what did you do? What did your slug do to change its appearance like that? He said with doubt and somewhat surprised, and Kakashi was equally doubtful about knowing his answer. Fernando, it's one of the abilities I have with Goon. He can use a technique that makes me have other appearances to my liking. Leaving that aside, we must continue acting. I recommend that you stay hidden in the shadows while I stay with her, he said calmly. Kakashi, you're right, from what we know, a carriage will come soon along with its guards. We will transform into one of them while you have the mission of taking care of her. You must not leave her side, he said seriously. To which they all nodded while she was clinging too much to the black-haired man. Something that caused some jealousy on the part of the girls who were watching, and each one had her own thoughts. Satsuki, damn, why does it make me so angry that they are with him? I promised myself not to fall in love since Naruto's death. I have to stop thinking about that and concentrate on the mission, she said seriously and somewhat jealous. Nadia, how can he do that? He looks like a soap opera model. I wish I were her right now. This is the type of man I love. She thought, a little jealous, while looking at everyone. It took a while until he finally arrived and they began to execute the plan while they were in the carriage where they were followed. Our protagonist had his own thoughts while his friend spoke. Goon, hey, I can feel the jealousy that the Uchiha emanates for you. You can notice it. I think I even dare to say that she is feeling attraction for you. Who would have thought it? He said, speaking in his mind while he says. Slinger, yes, I think I had my suspicions. It's annoying that he stares at me and gets angry because I still remember his words from when he was still that weakling and now he fell in love with my other self and this self, he thought angrily. Goon, don't see it like that, see it as an opportunity to take advantage of you. It's obvious that she misses her old self and she's obviously devastated. You can use her to manipulate her at will. Her clan keeps many secrets that you can obtain if you get close to her. Besides, you'll earn double the position. You know that this mission is to find out about your attitude. If you pretend that you have a bond with her, not only will they stop suspecting, but you'll also be able to have access to all the secrets of her clan, he said evilly. Slinger, it's a great idea and it will serve as revenge against her. I will be able to play with her emotions like a puppet that I will control at will. Ha 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 ha, magnificent, he thought sadistically while he put on the same smile. By the time they arrived, they immediately went to the living room while each of them was preparing for the party while the guests were entering for the big party while the guests were arriving and everyone was at the party. Woman, what a handsome man and how well he has preserved himself. Hey, wouldn't you like to be with me? I can buy you some drinks if you want, she said with a mischievous smile as she approached him like others. Woman 5, oh no, leave that silly old woman alone, why don't you come with me? I have a better body than all of them. A man like you needs a woman like me, she said as she approached the boy, just like the rest of the girls. And so many were surrounding our protagonist who had a calm look although internally he was getting tired of all this, but they were stopped by the brunette who took him and said, Isami, I'm sorry but he is my special dance guest so if you can leave I will be delighted, he said with a triumphant smile, and the women left somewhat angry while he told her the following. Fernando, I can detect each and every one of them. There are several ninjas here who have Churka, high Chunin rank, or even Jounin. I see that our suspicions are real. I will have to be careful, he thought seriously while taking a little binoculars. Isami, you know, for someone who is somewhat underage, honestly, I didn't expect it, he said with a smile while also having a drink and talking with him about some topics. Fernando, what can I say? You have to learn to drink. Although I only do it occasionally and thanks to that I have a high tolerance for alcoholic beverages, he said calmly while looking into her eyes. Waiter, excuse me, Lady Isami, but I brought you this glass of your favorites just for you. I hope it is to your liking, he said, while pouring it into a fine glass while she drank it and said the following. Isami, thank you very much indeed, he said while taking it, and when he left it, to his surprise, the black-haired man took it while joining their lips in a soft kiss that lasted a few moments until they separated. Fernando, I'm so sorry about this, but you're so beautiful that I couldn't resist, but when we're alone, I won't hold back, he said in a seductive tone while caressing her cheek, making the woman blush even more. A few meters away you can see waiters who were dressed as Genin and Satsuki squeezed her clothes out of jealousy she felt for seeing that kiss scene with the rest of the girls and many who saw it. Kakashi, I see, then that drink had poison and while he was kissing her he was sucking the poison out, and when he separated he used his napkin to remove it from his mouth. He's quite clever, very well done. Slinger thought seriously. Menma, we have to be careful. I just saw that Slinger stop that poison, but I suspect that others will try to do something. I should get a little closer and I will neutralize some hidden ninjas, he thought while walking like a waiter. After a while between conversations and fun moments that they had, great music began to be heard while each of them went to dance, and they saw how one of the guests was approaching the daimyo's daughter, so then Satsuki, Nadia and Mito pretended to collide so that their jacket would fall. Something that was noticed by the black-haired man who said the following. Fernando, beautiful lady, would you grant this gentleman the honor of inviting her to dance this piece? He said kneeling while kissing her hand, making the woman blush as she gladly accepted. Without a single second passing, they began to dance in a way in which the woman was hypnotized by the boy's eyes that shone in a way that just made her get carried away. All the people who were staring at her were amazed by the couple while they danced like that for a while. Until suddenly the lights went out which gave a signal, then all the guests were seen tied up while several high-ranking renegade ninjas come out while saying the following. Ninja 1, Listen very well, we have captured all the guests along with the waiters, so you have two options, either you surrender, daughter of the daimyo, or they will all die, he said with a mocking smile while observing the whole place. Fernando, I'm not going to let them hurt my partner because but he was interrupted when he was pierced with a sword while spitting blood from his mouth while one of the ninjas said the following upon seeing him. Ninja 6. I admit that your way of doing it is admirable, but that wound will make you die, and it won't take long for the poison that the daimyo's daughter now has to take effect, so why don't we take advantage and have fun with her, he said with lust. But to their surprise they saw how some of their members hit him, while they dispersed seeing that they were Kakashi, Menma along with Nadia and Mito, while Satsuki appears while they say, Kakashi, the plan worked very well done, Slinger, everything went perfectly just as you said, it looks like you are good at making plans in dangerous situations, he said while all the captured exploded into smoke. Fernando, yes, well, although the sword hurt a little, I had to continue with my act of pretending to be the brave pretty face, he said while getting up as if nothing had happened, while they were surprised. Ninja 6. But how is it possible you don't have a transformation technique, and why hasn't the poison we put in him worn off? He said angrily while the rest of his group was the same. Fernando, do you think we didn't notice you during the dance? My companions took care of your hidden friends. Then, with each guest who accidentally had an accident, I left it hidden and used a transformed clone to disguise the poison she doesn't have. I extracted it when I kissed her and now we have you. I think I was good at playing my role, don't you believe it? He said with a smile. Ninja 9. Damn, it doesn't matter anyway, they are simple genin, we will finish them in an instant, he said to launch himself against them while a battle was taking place while all that was generated. During the fight they had some problems against many of them while they were preparing. One of them seriously hurt Nadia and Mito while they looked at her with too much lust and perversion, while one of them said, Ninja 7, you know these girls are pretty cute for just being brats, what do you think if we make them our hitches? He said with an arrogant smile that was shared by his comrade. Menma, I have no choice, I wanted to hide it, but I must use it or my sisters' lives will be at risk, although it will be a big nuisance to tell everyone how I have it, he said to make several hand poses and say the following. Menma, would release, would pillar attack. He said so that several of these came out, which ended up hitting and seriously hurting all of them, while they ended up completely injured. While that was happening, Satsuki was not seeing the attacks with her Sharingan, and was dodging them, although one of them was about to hit her, being saved by Fernando, who took her by the arms princess style. Fernando, but look what we have, and I thought there was only one defenseless princess. But I was totally wrong, he said with a smile, making the black-haired girl blush while he told her the following. Satsuki, I didn't need your help, idiot, and you shouldn't be taking care of the daimyo's daughter, that's what's important in the battle. No, I didn't hear you, she said with a pout and looking to the other side while he said the following. Fernando, she is in a farther part thanks to one of Kakashi's clones, go with her to see her and help that clone, and since you don't want to be a princess, then he said to throw her to the floor while smiling. Satsuki, you're an idiot, you always do what you want, and you don't care about anything, she thought in pain, but at the same time she was somewhat happy with how I carry her, but she would never tell her to her face while she got up and left the place. Fernando, Kakashi, listen to me carefully, Ichidori, and when I give you a signal, hit the floor, did you hear me, he said while he was somewhat curious, nods while he created it, then he says. Fernando, water style great pounce, he said while creating it to the point of covering the entire place, and when Kakashi fell he hit the floor with so much force that he electrocuted all the ninjas, leaving them very injured. Kakashi, we did it, it was a good idea of teamwork. I see that you finally want to listen to me on this, so you can see what we can do, he said calmly while he caught the ninjas who were unconscious. Nadia, hey idiot, why the hell didn't you warn us? Look how we looked after your great plan, she said with her hair all wet while her sister was all electrocuted and sparks were coming out, only for him to tell them the following. Fernando, I don't understand what you're complaining about. They look less ugly. Anyway, now we have to go. As for how the place is, they have money so they can fix it, he said disinterestedly as he left. Menma, well, at least it's over and don't get mad at him. In fact, you look really good with that new look you have now, the truth is, he said with an innocent smile, just so that both of their hair gets angry. Menma, We give you 3 seconds to run. If not, I think something bad will happen to you. Something you will regret for the rest of your life, he said in an innocent tone that scared the aforementioned, who ran away in terror. When everything calmed down after Menma was hurt, they went to report, so they went directly to Konoha taken while the daimyo's daughter was looking at all of them while he tells them the following. Isami, thank you very much for helping me. I will tell him about my father, a good review of you. But maybe the next time we see each other, I will ask for a mission where we are alone, she said in a seductive way while she puts her breasts near Slinger. Kakashi, we'll see about that, for now we have to give the report, he said, so that she nodded her head while with a quick movement she gave a kiss on the lips to the green-haired man, who simply accepted it until he separated. Isami, and of course, who knows, maybe when things are calmer, I can ask my dad to do a very special mission where only you go and earn something more than money, he said in a seductive tone while biting his ear and leaving. Menma, ha ha ha, wow, you are quite a heartbreaker, Slinger said with a giggle as he now sees the aura of death that is heading towards him, trembling a little because of that, while everything pointed to the fact that they were going to kill him until. Nadia, well, I'm very tired. It was a tough mission. Let's go home, she said to take her brother and sister while they ran away from the place while they left the 3 until someone says the following. Kakashi, I will give the mission report, so if you can return to your homes happy that you completed your mission well, he said to jump away, leaving the green-haired boy with the black-haired girl, who remained silent and saw his look. Slinger, what's wrong with you? Don't tell me you're jealous of that kiss. I admit that it was a little nice, the truth is, and that's the only reason I reciprocated it, he said with an innocent smile, while she got angrier. Satsuki, why would I care what you do, idiot? I have no reason to feel that way, so it's better that it sticks in your memory, she said, looking away, a little blushing, while saying the following. Slinger, well, since my house is a bit far away, do you think I could stay and sleep with you if you like, of course, in distant beds, pervert? He said while caressing her cheek, making the girl blush while saying. Satsuki, it's fine, but only out of gratitude for saving me, so don't get your hopes up that I'll ever notice someone like you, she said blushing, while he simply laughed a little. Slinger, why do I get excited about something that I already know is mine? He said to grope one of her breasts, which caused her blush to increase until it turned into steam while she said nothing and just followed him. Goon. Ha 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 ha, that's it now, she's in the palm of your hand, keep doing that, brat, and we'll get what we both long for, he said while he nods while the background hated doing that. Chapter 6, A Rather Strange Dream Surprises Captured Bijou. Phase 1 begins. We met a Satsuki who was slowly waking up while it seemed that she was lying on the grass. The moment she opened her eyes she noticed where she really was, so she was completely confused and said the following. Satsuki, where am I? I don't remember lying on the grass in these clothes. I don't understand what's happening and why I feel bigger than before. I even feel like my breasts are much bigger. What's happening? She said confused and stood up. So when she saw a river near where she was, she went to look at her reflection and was completely surprised to see that it was bigger, looking like it was about 17 years old, but her thoughts were interrupted by a voice that said, Here you are, I finally found you, Satsuki-chan, you fell asleep again. I told you not to spend all night training last night, thank goodness it didn't rain, you could have caught a cold, said an unknown voice that when it turned around was in shock beyond belief. Satsuki, it can't be real, are you Naruto-kun, the real one? She said, surprised to see her love alive and on top of that being older and had that beautiful smile along with his blue eyes that she liked to see so much, while he simply told her the following. Naruto, well, if I'm the one who is going to do the most, remember that we would have a date since this afternoon we don't have missions with our team, that's why I was looking for you. Well, how about we go eat some ramen at Ikaraku's? He said with a smile while looking at her. To which she simply nodded, still in complete shock at what she sees while the redhead took her hand, walking and the amount of emotion she was feeling now, blushing, confused and stunned by everything she was seeing while she thinks. Satsuki, I still don't understand what's happening. This is very confusing, or is it that now an enemy is showing me this illusion to try to deceive me or something like that? It can't be. The last thing I remember is having gone to my room to sleep, she thought seriously while walking next to the redhead. Naruto, hey Satsuki-chan, do you feel okay? You've been quiet all this time, and it's not very common for you. Tell me what's going on. After all, you can tell your boyfriend anything," he said happily but at the same time worried about the girl while he sees her. "Satsuki, for it to be an illusion, everything I feel is real. I'll have to try," she said, and then she kissed the redhead on the lips, who instantly reciprocated with affection, while both got a little lost in their world and both hugged each other until they separated due to lack of air. "Naruto, love, hee, I see that you are more loving than usual, and I find it curious since you do not like us to kiss like that in public because it makes you a little embarrassed that everyone is staring at us," he said with a blush for the sudden kiss that his girlfriend gave him. "Satsuki, well, there's a first time for everything in this life. Besides, I wanted to surprise you. After all, you've done so many things for me that I wanted to reward you. I can think of other ways to do it," she said with a flirtatious smile while winking at him, making the boy blush more. Naruto, "Oh, what things you say, Satsuki-chan. You know, we still can't do it, and the truth is that I have come to want it," he said, very blushing, almost as red as his hair, which caused a small giggle from the girl who caressed his cheek and said the following. "Satsuki, I love when you get nervous, my little tomato, and it's normal that between couples we have relations at any moment, and we will do it as time goes by, but for now we are going to go to our date," she said with a smile, while she sees him. He simply nodded with a smile while they went to Ikaraka's to eat, and they were eating like a couple, and from time to time they kissed. When they finished they were walking until the atmosphere that was. "Naruto, how strange the weather changed so suddenly, it seems like it's going to rain. The best thing would be to go back home so the rain doesn't beat us. After this we'll stay at my house, okay?" he said, so the black-haired girl nodded her head and they ran away. Although to their surprise it began to rain, but what was raining was red water that looked like blood that was flooding all of Konoha, something that left them with doubt about what was happening until they saw that there were too many dead people, from children, adults to the Hokage himself was completely dead, something that scared them, so they decided to go somewhere else, although they stopped inexplicably. "Satsuki, Naruto-kun, tell me why we stopped here," she said with doubt, looking at her boyfriend, who when turning around was completely horrified to see how he was lying on the floor completely dead, and above him a dark shadow with red eyes. "Shadow, you had a lot of fun playing the happy couple, ha 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 ha, look at you acting like a hypocrite even despite your sins. After all, you are just a fraud because your true nature, like that of your entire clan, will always be betrayal," he said evilly. "Satsuki, damn, why did you kill Naruto-kun? Now I'm going to kill you, whoever you are," said, activating her eyes, trying to attack him with her techniques and blows, but these pierced him completely while he says, "Shadows, you killed him like his entire foolish village. You could have been there for him in those moments, knowing very well what happened day to day. Instead, you preferred to play with his feelings, and it was your actions like those of others that caused him to die. From that death, the one who will bring about the destruction of everything we know will be born," he said, piercing her with the sword while spitting blood. The girl was completely shocked by his words, and that turned into surprise when she saw how the shadow was showing itself to be none other than Slinger himself, maintaining his dark smile, while he pulled out the sword and was falling to the floor. "Satsuki, no Naru-kun no hhhhhhhh," she screamed, now noticing that she was in her room with her sleep clothes, while she calmed down a little by noticing that it was a dream while she heard someone enter, being the green-haired one. "Slinger, good morning, sleepy princess. I see you had a nightmare. Anyway, I brought you breakfast, I hope you like it. Oh, and by the way, lift up your blouse a little because I can see your breasts from here. Although it's a good view, I suppose it makes you uncomfortable," he said as if it were the most normal thing in the world while he left the food. "Satsuki, pervert, what things did you do to me while I was asleep, huh?" she said, blushing, lifting her blouse while grabbing the breakfast that he had brought her, at the same time that the green-haired man sees her while he says the following. "Slinger, I haven't done anything perverted to you yet, apart from the one who kept hugging and kissing me while I was asleep while you were babbling nonsense. Tell me what wet dream you had with me," she said with a mocking smile. "Satsuki, shut up, stupid. I wasn't having any of that, and even less if it's with you. Did you hear me? I must be crazy," she said, embarrassed, looking away only to feel the green-haired man caress her cheek, and says the following. "Slinger, you know, they've told you that you're cute when you blush, and by the way, if you want to do one of those things, just ask for the place and I'll gladly indulge you," he said in a seductive tone, blushing to the point where she unconsciously nodded her head. After that he went to wash the dishes while he was in the kitchen talking with his partner. While they were having a great conversation between them, he was saying the following to his dear friend. Slinger, tell me Goon, did you have fun playing with the Uchiha's dreams? I can see from her face that I managed to have a great effect on her, he said with a dark smile, while his partner laughs maniacally while telling him the following. Goon, you don't know how much fun I had. It was so entertaining to see a world where I was with your old you together, and then see everyone dead and how you were killing yourself. His face of pain and suffering was simply exquisite, he said with a dark smile. Slinger, very soon that nightmare will become real. Now she must be confused and in a state of weakness that I can take advantage of at will. The best of all is that the Chunin exams are coming here, which means that other villages will come, and if a Jinchuriki comes, I will make my move, he said evilly. Goon, very well thought out, and I have seen all the Uchiha secrets that are in this place, even quite interesting techniques that we can modify and improve. It includes all the secrets of the Sharingan along with how to use each technique, he said with a smile. They were going to continue talking among themselves until they saw the black-haired girl arriving, who had already changed her clothes while she was getting ready, and she stared at the green-haired boy and said the following. Satsuki, well, since we ate, what do we do? Kakashi-sensei said that because of the mission we have a few weeks off. Would you like to go out somewhere since I have nothing better to do? That's why, she said, a little blushing. Slinger, perfect. If they see me with her they will believe that I have a bond with her. Are you asking me for a date? Unexpected from the proud Uchiha. I will do it because I have nothing better to do at the moment, although just try not to be perverted in public, he said mockingly, increasing the girl's blush. Satsuki, I'm a pervert, you wish I were. Let's go now before I change my mind about whether to go or not, she said, taking him by the hand and leading him out of her house, still blushing as they walked around the place together like a couple. Time skip 4 weeks later. Now we meet Menma with Nadia and Mito, who were walking next to a small boy who was none other than Konohamaru, who was talking to him. It goes without saying that many were looking at them, some with respect, others with hatred, and even murmured things. Konohamaru, Menma, by the way, do you already have a girlfriend or a girl that you like? He said with doubt, waiting for his answer while he was a little impressed by said question while saying the following. Menma, well, no, honestly, there is still no girl that I like, and in my team there is only Satsuki. I admit it, she is pretty but she is not my type. But anyway, I hope and one day fall in love, he said with a smile. Nadia, and tell me Konohamaru, is there a girl in your class that you like, since I suppose that's why you asked? She said with a smile, only to see how he blushed a little because of this, while the aforementioned says. Konohamaru, well, actually, if she's a girl, her name is Hanabi Hyuga. I like her, but I don't know how to tell her what I feel, and I'm very afraid of what they'll say to me, he said shyly while blushing a little. But before they could say anything else, the little boy collided with a man with makeup on who, very angry, grabbed him by the scarf, completely pissed off at what the little boy did, while saying the following. Kankuro, disrespectful brat, watch where you're going, you little sycophant, they haven't taught you to watch where you're going, he said angrily while next to him was a blonde who was saying the following. Temari, Kankuro puts the child down, it's not worth doing it, it was an accident, you don't have to make all this fuss, he said, trying to get the aforementioned not to do something stupid while he says the following. Kankuro, no Temari, these brats these days don't know how to respect their superiors. So I'm going to teach him a lesson, he said, about to hit him before Menma and his sisters did something. Ha 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 ha, how childish the sand shinobis are, wanting to hurt a child to show that they are superior, ha 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 ha, said a macabre and crazy voice just so that those of the sand feel fear. However, both Menma and Nadia and Mito knew exactly who he was, so they decided not to say anything, only to see a green-haired man leaning against a tree with a sadistic smile, while he says the following. Slinger, do you know if it is a crime to hit a simple child, and more if he is not from your village? You almost hit the grandson of the third Hokage that according to the laws doing so would cause a war, which gives me the right to break every bone in your body, or even kill you, and there would be no consequences, he said with a sadistic smile, while his eyes shone red. Kankuro, what is this sensation? Not even Gaara is capable of launching tremendous bloodlust using only his eyes, he said, trembling to the point of letting go of Konohamaru, who was also trembling with fear upon seeing him. Temari, this boy is not normal, he is like my younger brother. But even his thirst for blood, I can feel my death just by looking at his eyes. Why is he like that? She said, equally scared while she seized them. Satsuki, Slinger, that's enough, you're going to traumatize them all and we don't want problems with the Sand Village, he said, arriving at the place only for the aforementioned to calm down little by little, while he says the following. Slinger, there you take the fun out of life. Satsuki, anyway, by the way, redhead, I hope you enjoyed the show a lot, and take an apple, he said, to throw it only to see a boy with a pumpkin on his back who eats the fruit while saying, Gaara, Kankuro, you are a disgrace, you make us look like a pack of weaklings, if you do it again I will kill you, I don't care that you are my brother, you heard me, he said in a cold tone while looking at him, then you say the following. Slinger, wow, I see that they are a great family, I suppose they are the children of the Kazakage, isn't that so after all? Besides him, no one else has red hair in his village, he said with a smile while looking at him. Gaara, from what I see you are someone very different, I want to know the name of my possible rival and next victim, he said in a dark tone, making those in the arena tense up while he said the following. Slinger, nice to meet you too, I'm Dark Slinger and don't worry about your names Sabaka no Gaara and his brothers Temari and Kankuro, the rumors of the Kazakage's children come back everywhere, he said with a smile. Gaara, mother wants your blood. Dark Slinger, I hope you participate in the upcoming Chunin exams, did you hear me? He said seriously while everyone feels uncomfortable for being excluded while saying the following. Slinger, you know, I think your mother and you wouldn't mind a nap, from what I can see by your dark circles, you haven't slept enough, you need to sleep if you want to grow a little taller, he said, showing that he was very small. Gaara, I haven't slept since I can remember, and if I were you I advise you not to make jokes like that or I'll kill you, he said, releasing his sand, alerting his brothers while he tells him the following. Slinger, I'm not afraid of your beautiful sand, but believe me I can help you with that if you allow me. Goon, do your thing, he said, so that the slug gets on the red-haired man of the sand and starts singing. To their surprise they saw how Gaara fell to the ground while they heard how he was completely asleep, something that surprised everyone present to see this while someone said, Nadia, wait Slinger, what is your slug doing and what is that song that even makes me sleepy? She said, yawning a little while trying to hold back sleep while he says, Slinger, simple, one of Goon's abilities is that he releases a song that is capable of putting anyone to sleep instantly, and from what I see he really needed to sleep, he said looking at him, while he said the following. Temari, thank you very much, really for this. For a long time I always tried to get Gaara to sleep a little but I never succeeded, thank you, she said, hugging him tightly, making a certain Uchiha jealous. Slinger, don't worry, and having a cute little sister to take care of him, he must be lucky. In fact, I wish I had a sister as beautiful as you are in reality, he said to make the blonde blush while someone says, Kankuro, well, first of all I'm sorry for all the mess I made, I promise it won't happen again, for now we'll go to our room, I don't know if you can join us to take Gaara, he said looking at him. Slinger, I accept, and it serves that I continue talking to a lovely girl who is not an airhead, or a tomato, or worse, an emo with strange tendencies, he said, making the girls in his group get angry, and they left the place. Myth, Tomato told me, stupid Tomato, if it weren't for the fact that you scare me a bit, and you're too handsome right now you'd get a big beating, I thought very angrily while someone was more jealous. Satsuki, that bastard is doing it on purpose, he wants to make me jealous and shit, he's succeeding, but he'll pay me back later, she thought angrily, leaving the place without anyone else noticing. Nadia, I'm an empty head, everyone calls me that, so don't you know another insult? That bastard is going to pay for it, he said, releasing his angry aura that was shared by all the girls while a voice spoke to the blonde. Kurama, Brad, if I were you I would leave here slowly or they would take out all that anger on you, so try not to do anything stupid now, he said, making the blonde nod and do it slowly. Elsewhere, we can see how the Sabacus brothers accompanied by Slinger arrived at a small house where they were going to stay during their time in Konoha while the green-haired boy left him on a sofa. This question. Slinger, so he is a Jinchuriki of the Ichibi, better known as the Sand Demon for his imposing size and being made 100% of sand, right? He said to see the impression on their faces while they get a little nervous, and someone speaks saying the following. Kankuro, how did you know? Were you spying on us? She said somewhat nervously, as well as her sister, while they saw the green-haired boy who said the following while he saw the red-haired boy asleep, while he said, Slinger, simple, from what I know, every Jinchuriki of the sand has an unstable mind, and that's because their seals are not designed for a beast, and I suppose that their reason for not sleeping is because the beast must be telling them what to do. Of course I can solve it since I am an advanced sealing master, he said calmly. Temari, tell me why you are so kind to us. We are strangers to you, but with Gaara he always gives the appearance of someone that everyone runs away from. Because you didn't do it, she said with doubt while she sees him. Slinger, never judge a book by its cover. You can see that he's a sadist who likes to see his enemies suffer, but inside he's just a little boy who was hated, scorned for something he never asked for, and somehow I can relate. Well, I'll do it. I'll put a seal on it that blocks contact with the beast. That should be enough, he said, putting it on his forehead and making Goon stop singing. Kankuro, I don't know how to repay you for helping my little brother. Anyway, I'll go out for a walk for a while. I'll leave you two alone so you can get along. He said the last bit with some mockery and left only to see a blushing and angry Temari. Slinger, don't worry, so you feel better? My Goon's slug shat on one of his puppets. I want to see his face when he sees it or uses it in battle. You can be sure he's going to scream very loudly, he said with a giggle while he sees it. Temari, thank you very much, that makes me feel better. Being the older sister many times, I have a job of taking care of him so that he doesn't do anything wrong. It's a bit tiring, especially with Gaara, she said sighing tiredly while he says. Slinger, I imagine it must be, but hey, at least now Gaara will be fine from now on. As for Kankuro, you just have to get revenge on him with some jokes that just occurred to me and that are perfect for him, he said, passing her a list that made her smile. Temari, you are very sweet. No boy has ever been like that with me. Many of you fear me for Gaara, but I really love having a person to talk to and have a good time with, he said with a smile while leaning on his shoulder, and he said the following. Slinger, I say the same, you are the first girl who is not a headache for me and I have had a good time with you, therefore you will receive a prize for these beautiful moments, he said. With a quick movement he took her and kissed her on the lips with great passion. Of course it made the girl blush completely while she felt a great warmth in her heart, and on her lips she reciprocated the kiss while both were lost for a while until they had to separate. Temari, I really liked it. It was my first kiss, honestly, and I never thought it would have been like that, hee. I see that everything they said was true, she said something shy just to see how he laughed a little to see how the girl acted, who told him the following. Slinger, I hope you enjoyed it, and remember if you want to feel it again you just have to ask for it when we are alone, like in these moments where we can do many interesting things, he said, so that she blushed even more until she was as red as a tomato. They spent a good while talking until they even watched a movie together, and in the end the girl fell completely asleep on his chest while she snuggled up to him while her companion arrived. Goon, wow, you've had fun with her. It's been so long since I've seen you give a small, sincere smile. And not one of those you make up. He said something surprised while he sees him, and he simply shrugs and says the following. Slinger, even I am surprised by this girl, she is truly unique and I must tell you that I had a good time at her side. Anyway, let's get back to what we came for, she said, taking out a bit of darkness and heading towards Gaara, and when she did, he closed his eyes and it seemed like he was asleep. In the mind of the redhead of the sand, we met a slinger who was now walking slowly with his friend to a place where a light appeared only for a large beast made of sand to say the following. Shikaku, what do you want here, insignificant human, before the great Shikaku, the demon of the sand? Ha 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 ha, or did you come to be a sacrifice for me? You must be honored that you are one, he said sadistically while looking at him. Slinger, you're quite proud for just an idiot raccoon. What I want is simple. I've come to have you carry out all my orders along with my objectives that go beyond having all the bijus at my mercy, he said calmly while he laughed like crazy. Shikaku, you controlling me, ha 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 ha, is the best joke I've heard in centuries. Do you think someone like you can control me now? How did you laugh? I'll eliminate you quickly, he said, raising his hand. But in that the whole place was changing, bathed in blood, while some hands of darkness took the beast as well as some chains made of pure darkness, while he sees the intimidating eyes of the boy while he tells him the following. Slinger, I see that you don't understand. Maybe you are powerful, but in this world I am the one who makes the rules and you will obey me whether you like it or not. Now listen carefully, stupid beast with a tail, stupid and shameless, he said seriously. Goon/slinger, when you hear us, your mind should only obey us. It is understood to be insignificant, the two said, firing several rays of darkness that were affecting the mind of the beast who was screaming in pain. Shikaku, what the hell is this? No, please, he said while screaming and touching his head only to change shape now to a darker one, while his eyes turned red while he roared. Slinger, now listen to me carefully, Shikaku. You are going to pass me your memories and you are going to be in my body. Before that, you must leave 50% of your power in Gaara so that you can be released. Did you understand me? He said so that the beast only nods his head. Out of the mind of the sand redhead. The moment they returned to the normal world, they decided to go to their mental space, seeing the beast who was sitting without saying anything as if he sees all his memories while he says, Slinger, interesting. So in the past you and your brothers were a single beast that was divided, and to use it you must use the Rinnegan, and not only that the Sannin Orochimaru will attack these Chunin exams. It was very good information. Now with this I will use that snake for my future plans, he thought with a smile. Chapter 7, having a great time destroying the first stage of the Chunin exams. One morning the birds were waking up and started singing as a sign that it was early, and while the people were already opening their stalls, some shinobis were entering, but that is not the important thing. We will focus on a small but luxurious house where our protagonist was watching how the blonde was curled up on his chest and stared at him. Slinger, you know it's more comfortable to sleep with her than with the Uchiha. She is a special case. Not only is she beautiful, but her personality is quite tender. Strong but tender character, and she always worries about her brothers more than herself, and I think she has done so since the death of her mother, and from what I see her father was never with any of the three since she was little. She had to assume a mature role, he said calmly, caressing the girl's hair. Goon, it reminds me a lot of you when I met you. Like her, you also had to mature at an early age. Although you lived in a bubble of lies, at least her father was clear about what he thought of Gaara. But that fool Sarutobi not only hid the truth from you, but he could have done something for you, but he didn't, even the beatings. Neither Hataki nor the old woman did anything to prevent it, they simply took it as something normal. On the other hand, Temari always looked after that redhead along with that gay and looked after both of them. I can even feel their souls. They are so pure that apart from yours from the past, I had not felt one in this world, she said looking at him. Slinger, I can still feel her. People like her, there is only one in a haystack. I will not let anything bad happen to her even though my objective is written and I will follow it according to the plan. I will avoid at all costs that they harm this noble soul, he said seriously. Goon, I think you're experiencing love, boy. Maybe you have a great darkness and you're pure evil, but that doesn't stop you from having those feelings anyway. I don't want you to leave them. Just like you, I fell in love with a slug once, but that will be another story that I'll tell you. For now it seems that your princess is waking up, he said, watching as she wakes up. And just as the slug said, the blonde was waking up little by little, while when she opened her eyes she blushed heavily because of the position she was in, and where she had slept, which the green-haired man saw, and with a smile he said the following. Slinger, good morning, beautiful sleeping beauty. I hope you slept well in my clearing, he said with a smile. The main character made him blush more, and the girl, who was shy, said the following. Temari, I slept very well, honestly. I think I fell asleep after watching movies. I'm sorry if I bothered you, but she was interrupted by a quick kiss on the lips while she saw her smile. Slinger, I don't mind that you did it, on the contrary, it was very nice. It's been a while since I slept so well, understandable being with a tender girl like you, he said with a smile while she blushed. Temari, you are also very handsome and sweet, Slinger-kun said, gathering courage. She kissed him on the lips and he accepted with pleasure, both enjoying the kiss while it increased in intensity while she was on his lap, still maintaining the kiss. So that Slinger's hands were running all over the girl's body from her back to her legs until instinctively he delicately and softly touched her breasts that were of a good size, causing a slight moan from the girl, who now lowered her hands towards the boys but touching it equally delicately, making both of them let out several sighs of enjoyment that were silenced by the kisses they gave each other. They would have been like that for a long time, but after half an hour they heard footsteps from the house, so they both had to stop, and both separated due to lack of air while the boy says, Slinger, well, I think we should stop, but don't worry, we can continue whenever you like, just name the time and of course we will do it, he said with a smile while caressing her cheek, and she blushes and smiles a little. Temari, it's fine, although I would have liked to continue with our thing, but I'll settle for this, which will always make me think of you, my prince, she said, kissing him on the lips for a while longer until they separated while he said to her, Slinger, I see you have more initiative, that's good, and remember, you can do it whenever you want and only you are allowed to do it. Okay, he said calmly while she nods, smiling. Temari, well, now I must prepare breakfast since I always have to do it for the two of us, she said, but was interrupted by a kiss on the cheek from the green-haired boy who has a small smile while telling her, Slinger, don't worry, I'll prepare breakfast. It's the least I can do for letting you sleep here and for that beautiful moment we shared. Your wake will be something special for you, he said with a smile. She just blushes but nods happily while Slinger prepares breakfast, seeing how her brothers arrived and told Kankuro, or rather ordered him to set the table, while Gaara sat down to wait for the food that lasted a while until it arrived. So that he serves 4 plates of hotcakes with maple syrup, blueberries, strawberries, and small pieces of banana, leaving the 3 surprised to see how delicious it looks while he tells them the following. Slinger, I hope you like it, you can eat at ease with this breakfast that I have prepared, he said, so that the 3 of you can try it and be completely amazed by the knowledge, while someone says, Kankuro, how delicious they were. Slinger, you really are good at preparing breakfast, you should even be a great cook someday if you put your mind to it, he said with a smile, eating it. Temari, he is a good cook, kind, tender, handsome, attentive and daring, I think I fell in love with him. I love him. They are really tasty, thank you very much for making breakfast, he said with a smile, while he sees it, and it responds saying the following. Slinger, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and what about you, Gaara, how did you sleep? You managed to sleep well without anyone bothering you, he said calmly while he was still eating, watching the redhead. Gaara, in fact, it was the first time in my entire life that I managed to sleep. Kankuro explained it to me seriously. I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for me and what you're doing now, he said with a small smile. Slinger, you don't have to be thankful, it's what anyone would have done. Besides, I saw it in your eyes, you were suffering, and I simply went to help you, and I would do it again without a second thought, he said calmly while looking at him. Kankuro, by the way, I have a question. Slinger, you don't seem to be from this village, because I have that feeling since when I was a child I went to Konoha a couple of times with my father, but I never saw you since I would recognize that green hair anywhere, he said looking at him. Slinger, your theory is correct, I'm not from Konoha, I lived in a happy village with my family. We have amazing abilities and we were calm until we were attacked by unknown ninjas. They killed everyone, including my family. Only I survived. To do it, I had to learn to kill at an early age, but despite having finished them off, it didn't bring back my loved ones, so I went to Konoha because it was closer to me and I didn't know if they would send more of them after me, he said, so that everyone would be surprised by his story. Temari, it must have been very hard for you, I'm really sorry, she said, hugging him with much love and comfort while he accepted it calmly while caressing her, and he responded saying the following. Slinger, it's okay, I'm over it, I won't deny it, it's still painful, but crying over what happened won't change anything. For a while, I blamed myself for the death of my family, but they aren't here to forgive me, and I have to live with that and grow to be strong just like they would have wanted, he said with a small smile. Gaara, it's really mature of you to see it like that. By the way, since tomorrow is the day of the Chunin exams, I don't know if you should know, but I'll say it anyway. The Sand is allied with Orochimaru, they're planning to attack Konoha, he said seriously, making the 2 tense up, but… Slinger, okay, listen, I'm not going to say anything. I know it's a mission and I know none of you want to do it. Thanks for sharing. I'm not going to tell anyone, not even the Hokage. What I will try to do is make sure that many people don't get hurt. The less they know, the better, he said calmly while looking at them. Kankuro, thank you very much for understanding, you really took a weight off our shoulders. Well, now what do you want to do since we have free time and there is nothing to do, he said, looking at everyone present. Slinger, I have free time and well, even though I have a meeting, I left a shadow clone as a replacement, and if I didn't know him they would talk about the Chunin exams, something I already know. Then why don't we have a date? Temari-chan said, watching her blush. Temari, I would love to have a date with you, but I don't know what my brothers think about me going, she said, looking at the two and wants their opinion. That is important to her, so they simply told her. Gaara, calm down sister, you can go. If it were someone else, I would have killed or tortured him, but I trust him and I know he won't hurt you and he will take care of you. Besides, I want to spend time with Kankuro as brothers, he said calmly. Kankuro, I also agree with Gaara, since Slinger seems to be someone trustworthy, so I have no problems, and if an idiot wants to do something to Temari, you have my permission to hurt him, whoever it is and however you do it, he said, eating. After breakfast they washed the dishes and prepared for their date. First of all they decided to train a little. Slinger taught him many ways to use his wind style without using his fan. He told him that it was important to not depend on it, since that is a weakness. They spent a few hours training. From time to time he made some jokes to which she responded by making cute pouts. When they finished training they decided to rest on the grass, lying down, and slept a little, hugging each other, both smiling. 4 hours later they both woke up, so they decided as a way to kill time to go to a restaurant where he paid for the meal, where they both ate, and other times the girl kissed him on the cheek and he was seen by people with some surprise while they talked. In the afternoon they decided to stay and look at the stars while they told their adventures. They often laughed at other times or even made some good jokes to some villagers, and it was all laughter. At midnight we can see how both Slinger and Temari were lying on the head of the fourth Hokage while they kissed passionately while giving each other some caresses, while when they separated she said the following. Temari, this has been the best date I've ever had in my life. Thank you for having this special moment with me. Slinger-kun, you are truly the best thing that has ever happened to me, she said with a smile as she looks into his eyes. Slinger, I still had a good time with you. You are someone special, and well, we have to enjoy these moments of peace that we have now closer to you, he said while caressing the girl's blonde hair. Temari, although it makes me sad since I won't be in Konoha for long once the invasion is over, I don't think we'll be able to see each other much, she said somewhat sadly while he took her hands. Slinger, don't worry about that. From time to time I will visit you in Suna. I will do it to spend time with you. No matter what happens, I will go see you, he said, so that the girl gives him a kiss on the lips while he says to her. Temari, you are so sweet really, and I like that idea. I want to show you the wonders of my village and spend time together, although I have to go now. Gaara and Kankuro must be waiting for me, she said with a smile. Slinger, I will accompany you to your home. Finally, mine is on the way, he said, so that the girl nodded her head with a beautiful smile, while he tenderly kissed her forehead. And so they both walked hand in hand through the whole village, being almost the center of attention of everyone, to get to the house, where they arrived at the door where the blonde said goodbye to him, giving him a tender and affectionate kiss on the lips that he reciprocated, and she left blushing, which was worth a small laugh from the boy, who walked down the street that they were already alone, only for him to say, Slinger, don't try to hide anymore. I know perfectly well that you're here. Satsuki, tell me, what are you doing spying on me? Don't you have better things to do than harass me? Closet pervert said mockingly, just to see how the aforementioned leaves the place. Satsuki, tell me, why the hell did you have a date with her? And not only that, because with her you are more affectionate than you are with me, as she said angrily, although somewhat jealous, and sad although it wasn't very noticeable, and this one says, Slinger, what can I say? She's kind, tender, attentive, and not rude or proud like you. Besides, I don't know why you care so much. After all, it's not like you're my girlfriend, he said, bored and disinterested. Satsuki, so all those nice words you said to me were a lie. Everything you did for me was worthless. Have you only been using me? He said angrily, although shedding a few tears. Slinger, actually I thought you were the one who was using me in an indirect way, since you really don't know what it is to love someone, and you only see me as a replacement, he said seriously while looking at him. Satsuki, I don't even have what the buck you're talking about, idiot, she said angrily, although internally she was nervous since she knows very well what he was referring to, but she still denied it while he says, Slinger, do you really think I'm an idiot? In your dreams, while you sleep, you always mention a certain Naruto all the time, and I also hear you whisper his name, and I know who he is. After all, he is the most notorious and recent news in Konoha, the brother of Menma, Nadia, and Mito, and that they treated him like garbage for being a supposed Jinchuriki, and that you made him believe a false love, he said seriously while looking at her. Satsuki, how do you know that? Who told you about that? She said, trembling slightly as she fell to the ground and was still crying but for another reason. While he walked towards her and said the following. Slinger, my dojutsu makes me see fears and regrets in a few words. Since our fight I saw your memories along with your thoughts. Naruto was someone who loved you and you made him believe that you loved him, but you spoke ill of him behind his back, and you were even a couple, but you were unfaithful to him, saying that he was easy to use, and only until his death did you realize how valuable he was, and you believe that he and I have some kind of connection, right? He said seriously. She just looked at him and was crying a lot because that's what she thought. She didn't know why she felt that way, but she still couldn't stop feeling it, and she simply didn't respond to what he said while he looked at her with indifference. Slinger, but you must leave it, understand it. Naruto no longer exists and will never return as your family. You must understand that, and I do not understand why you pretend that you love him. You deceive yourself since you do not know what it is to love someone. You are proud of your clan, and for having been the heiress of the Uchihas made you special, and since you were little you always believed yourself the best in everything, and it was your arrogance that killed Naruto and your entire family. Those are and always will be your sins that you will never be able to atone for, and every relationship we had meant nothing to me because I will not be with someone who is capable of killing a loved one to obtain more power. You are not so different from your brother. Goodbye, Uchiha said to leave, devastating the girl who only cried. The next day, we can see that everyone was arriving for the Chunin exam stage while Slinger was in a tree watching all the participants arrive while he says to him, Goon, I must say the fact that you said all those hurtful words to the Uchiha girl was incredible. You managed to break her. I was able to see it. I would be surprised if she came to this event, he said with a dark smile. Slinger, and how gratifying it felt to have said it to his face is something I was already wanting to say to his face, but I highly doubt he won't come since the Uchihas are stubborn in wanting to show how strong they are, he said to feel the presence of his companions next to his sensei. Menma, today is the big day of the Chunin exams where we will have the opportunity to fight with other ninjas from other villages, he said very excitedly while his sisters also said it. Nadia, just like me, we are going to fight and strive to give our 100% in every fight, she said, just as excited as her brother, while Mito had an equally excited smile while he watched them. Kakashi, now tell me Satsuki, what is it that you have had since this morning when I went to look for you to train a little earlier? You haven't said anything, you are quieter and more serious than usual. Something is wrong, he said looking at the girl who said the following. Satsuki, that shouldn't matter to you Hitaki. Now I want you to leave me alone since I don't have time for your nonsense, she said angrily showing her Sharingan that now had 3 blades while the aforementioned thought. Kakashi, his Sharingan increased in power. Something bad must have happened to him, and he must have been very emotional for his Sharingan to evolve. Leaving that aside, whereas Slinger said looking that he was not alone to see how someone went down. Slinger, it was about time you arrived. I was getting bored of making you wait. Well, let's go in. I want to see what new prospects you have, he said, walking, followed by the rest of his teammates. The senseis simply wished them luck, so they went to the place towards the academy where it was going to be given, so they were going up noticing the genjutsu, but he made signs to them not to say anything and they all nodded without saying anything. When they were about to enter, they were interrupted by a guy with big eyebrows in a green suit accompanied by a brunette in a pink suit, and a brown-haired boy with white eyes and a serious face while they say, Rock Lee, excuse me, but I'm looking for a certain Dark Slinger. According to rumors, he was Rookie of the Year and has been well known for his great power. I would like to meet him to ask him for a duel and show off my flames of youth, he said excitedly. Slinger, I don't know him, but I admire him just like you. In fact, I think I saw him a while ago. He wasn't arriving yet. I think if you wait a little longer you'll be able to see him, he said, pretending to be kind, which was believed by the girl and the boy in green. 10-10, we really appreciate it. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience Lee has caused, he said. Sometimes he can be very idiotic, so that they were about to leave, being stopped by the voice, this time with white eyes, who said the following. Niji, How can the two of them be so stupid? It's obvious that he is a dark slinger. Team 7 is known for having the 3 children of the 4th Hokage, Menma Uzumaki Namikaze, Nadia Uzumaki Namikaze along with Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. Those are the 2 blondes and a redhead. The black-haired girl is Satsuki Uchiha, the last heir of her clan, which only leaves you, dark slinger. The boy who joined Konoha years ago and is known for his great abilities, he said to the surprise of his companions. Slinger, so you know a lot about us, huh? Wow, what a stalker you turned out to be. You're worse than the Uchiha here. But I'm so sorry, I don't hit for the other side, big eyebrows and blind. But you can hook up with the Uzumakis. Not even a boy cares about them, he said mockingly while the boy says to him. Rock Lee, that's not what I mean. I want to fight you and I won't accept no as an answer, so you better get ready, he said, launching a kick at a great speed that even surprised Satsuki along with Menma, Mito, and Nadia with its speed. Although to the surprise of this one as of everyone at the moment of crashing he vanished, which caused him to crash into a wall only to see how he was behind Menma and Nadia while he says the following. Slinger, I must admit your strength may be superior to that of my team, but I don't have time for fights. We have to go to the exam and we don't need useless delays. If I were you, Blind Eyes, I would do the same. Let's go, he said, leaving, followed by Satsuki without saying anything, along with Nadia. Mito, I'm sorry about that, we'll gladly help you get it out as a way to reward you, he said to go with Menma and being helped by Tenten, but someone had certain thoughts about what he saw a moment ago. Niji, what was that? I didn't feel a single bit of chakra, and how was he able to perform that kind of illusion without us noticing? I must be careful with that guy if I ever fight him, he thought seriously. Without further ado, when they finished taking Lee out, he asked Mito for a date, but Mito rejected him and left with his brother, who were catching up with the rest only to see a large room where many people were. Ino, hey guys, we're all gathered here, he said, so you can see how teams 10 and 8 were, who came to greet them while someone spoke, and it was clear who did. It was no other. Kiba, now the 3 teams of the new generation are here. Now if I have become stronger than ever, no one will beat this alpha. Did you hear that? Slinger, I will destroy you and I will take revenge for the humiliation of graduation, he said arrogantly, but the aforementioned was not there. Myth, I don't understand how he does it, he's pretty fast, we never realized when he left, he said, trying to find the one mention that they couldn't find him anywhere, while someone tells him the following. Shikamaru, if they talk about Slinger, he's around there, it seems he's met up with some friends, he said, so everyone could see that he was with the Sand People, although it was a pleasant surprise that he was with a blonde, and he smiles a little. Chuji, Slinger is really smiling, and it's not that sadistic or crazy smile he uses in his battles, it's a happy one. I never thought I'd see him, he said, stopping eating because of the impression, while someone speaks. Satsuki, damn it, because I can't stop loving him despite everything he told me yesterday, that still hurts me. I hate him and I love him, and because he reminds me of Naruto. They can't be the same person, but my heart says the opposite, damn it, I thought, jealous. Hey, don't make such a fuss, everyone is staring at us because of all the spectacle you're putting on, said an unknown voice just so they could see a boy with the leaf band while he says the following. Menma, I'm very sorry that we made a big scandal, nice to meet you, I'm Menma Uzumaki Namikaze and you are, he said, looking at the boy who had the leaf band and was a dangerous man who told him the following. Kabuto, a pleasure, I'm Kabuto Yakushi and you should not be confident since these exams are very difficult. This is my 7th time taking these exams, he said with a nervous smile while looking at them all. Nadia, wow, they really are so difficult, I'm surprised that you still want to pass. It seems that you want to keep trying despite all that, something admirable, she said with a smile, while he just nods nervously. Kabuto, thank you very much for your compliments, but not everything is so bad. In fact, thanks to that, I have been able to collect any information about the participant. Does anyone want to know? He said with a smile. Myth, let's see if what you say is true. I want information about Rock Lee and Sabaku no Gara, he said, looking at the aforementioned, who nodded while applying a little chakra and saying the following. Kabuto, Okay, let's start with this. Rock Lee. His team is made up of Tenten, and the prodigy Niji Hyuga. His sensei is the green beast of Konoha known as Mato. Guy has 40 missions rank D, 10 missions rank C, and 5 missions rank B. His abilities are to fight only with taijutsu. It is said that he can activate the intense doors that makes him have a very high strength and power. Now Sabaku no Gaara. His team is made up of his brothers Sabaku no Kankuro and Sabaku no Temari along with his sensei Baki. Has 20 missions rank D, 25 missions rank C, and 40 missions rank A. It is said that in each duel he has had he comes out intact from the combat he has faced, he said to the surprise of everyone present. Kiba. Wow, what an amazing ability, and it looks like they are quite strong. Now I want you to ask me, but he was interrupted because someone else spoke saying the following, and this was none other than the Hyuga. Niji, now I want you to give me information about Dark Slinger. Everything you know about him I want to know now, he said to the surprise of many who knew him and also wanted information about him along with their doubts. Kabuto, let's see what we have here. Dark Slinger. His team, the children of the 4th Hokage Menma Uzumaki Namikaze along with Mito Uzumaki Namikaze, Nadia Uzumaki Namikaze, and the last Uchiha Satsuki Uchiha. It is said that this boy was in a nearby town whose whereabouts are unknown, but it is said that some ninjas attacked said town, and he was the only survivor, killing all the ninjas mercilessly. Being so young, his abilities have control of the elements on par with Tobirama handling the water. Also has a dojutsu capable of seeing the fears of people along with their regrets, and torturing them to death. Missions that have made 60 D rank missions, 20 C rank missions, and 2 B rank missions, in which he stood out for killing Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, along with the mobster Gato and his men, and the other being the daimyo's escort. Has a slug that gives him the ability, but was interrupted when they took your letters. When everyone saw the person responsible, they saw that it was Slinger himself, who unleashed his killer instinct, which was suffocating for everyone except those in the arena who saw the scene, while he said the following. Slinger. Well, now that Mr. Kabuto did something as nice as saying very important information about me without my consent, I think it is better that I do the same for you. That we have here Kabuto Yakushi, the last survivor of an ancient war found by the medical team and raised by a woman named Nono Yakushi, who was guardian of the orphanage of the Land of Fire, known for being an expert in infiltrating and collecting information from any ninja village, until one day the woman who raised him and came to call him mother tried to kill him, but he killed her first, he said with a smile as he approached. Of course, everyone was surprised by that information, but even Kabuto himself was trembling slightly nervously, since few people know that information, and he only saw how he approached and whispered, Slinger. And if you don't want me to mention that you are the right hand of a certain pedophile snake in front of everyone present, it would be best if you kept quiet, he said, to everyone's surprise, and the latter nods, swallowing saliva. Very well, garbage, don't cause any problem or you will look bad. And now sit down because the exams will start right now, said a guy with a scarf on his head and marks of cuts on his face. He was also accompanied by more ninjas who they assumed were Chunin or Jounin because of the vest they wore, and with some boards in hand. Ibiki, first of all, I am Ibiki Marino, and from now on, I am your nightmare, he said seriously and continued, you candidates from the Sound Village, who told you that you were proposing to fight? Do you want to be expelled before you even start? Kabuto, don't worry Mr. Ibiki, we weren't fighting. I'm very sorry for the inconvenience. Can you continue with this? He said fearfully, and only Slinger noticed it was a lie, as they let him continue talking. Ibiki, I'll say it once, so listen, there will be no battles between candidates, there will be no attacks without permission from your censor, and even if authorized, the use of fatal force is strictly prohibited, the ninja said loudly and seriously and continued, anyone who dares to mess with me will be disqualified immediately, did you hear? He said forcefully while looking at them all. Everyone nodded. Many were afraid of the censor, others didn't care, as was the case with Slinger and Gaara, who were completely calm about the man, while he said, Ibiki, if we are ready, we will proceed to the first stage of the Chunin exam. Submit your application, and you will be given a number in return. This number will determine where you will sit. We will begin the written exam once we are all seated, he said with a serious voice. Menma, no, don't let it be written, he said forcefully, since he didn't like that at all, and he was terrible at written exams, and that would be the worst mistake he could make. Ibiki, everyone face forward. There are several rules that I have to warn you about beforehand. I will not answer questions. so pay attention because what I am going to say I am not going to repeat, he said in a heavy voice while looking at them. Everyone paid attention except Slinger, who had a bored look while he was talking to his slug mentally while the teacher gave a great explanation. Ibiki, rule number 1, the written part will be based on point reduction. That means that everyone currently has 10 points, and their score will be reduced by the incorrect answers they give. An example is if they have 3 mistakes, then their score will be 7. Rule number 2, the teams will pass based on the results of the 3 members now. Rule number 3. The sentries that are surrounding the room are there to carefully observe any sign of cheating. For each incident they detect, 2 points will be subtracted from the person who caused the cheating. I warn you, their eyesight is extremely sharp, and if you catch them 5 times you will be disqualified before your exam is graded. Almost everyone present gulped after hearing his words, and many of them were completely nervous about this while he spoke again, saying the following. Ibiki. Whoever is so stupid as to let himself be caught cheating by the sentries does not deserve to be here. If you want to be considered a shinobi, show us what an exceptional shinobi is capable of. One more thing, if a candidate gets a 0, the entire team fails, he said in a sinister voice. Menma, along with his sister Nadia in his head, just wanted to die for being such an idiot in this. But he encouraged himself just to be able to answer at least one correctly, even with our protagonist. Goon, it seems interesting that this test is about copying an infiltration mission without being discovered and bearing the pressure. That's why I intimidate all these pathetic brats. Hey kid, why don't you teach that man how it should be done? He said with a dark smile that was shared by the boy. The moment they started, everyone began to write while a couple of minutes passed and many of the participants were expelled for cheating. However, the teacher noticed how Slinger was lying in his chair with his eyes closed with a bored look, so he personally went to confront him. Ibiki, you, the one with the green hair, I haven't seen you move at all. If you're not taking this seriously, then you'd better leave now with your team, he said seriously and trying to intimidate while he said. Slinger, actually I've already finished my exam and I'm just waiting for the last part. Besides, I don't want to do it because I don't feel like it, he said with a smile while everyone was surprised by how shameless he was, although those who know him know that he was up to something. Ibiki, so we have a joker with us. Well, we will give them a demonstration of why they should be afraid of me. Now tell me something from what I know about you. You say that some ninjas killed your village and your family, but isn't it? Rather, you killed them to get more power, he said seriously while looking at him. Slinger, I don't think so because I still remember their faces. Curiously, none of them had a ninja band, but they just arrived and killed each one of them, he said calmly while he told him the following. Ibiki, how do I know you're not lying? The whole time we've been talking you've kept your eyes closed. Are you afraid to express yourself? I demand that you look me in the eyes and tell me if what I said was a lie. Are you serious? He simply put on a completely dark and evil smile and opened his eyes completely, now seeing both red eyes, leaving them scared and surprised to see that, even themselves, but only those who know him looked away, even those in the arena did so since they know what it meant. Slinger, I already did it just as you asked me, but now tell me something, Iki-kun, have you ever known the meaning of true despair? He said in a dead and dark voice as he looked directly into his eyes. It goes without saying that those who looked him straight in the eyes were plunged into their world of fears and regrets that tormented them. Many screamed in pain asking for them to stop and many fainted. Others even left in fear for that boy. Although in Ibiki's case he had a vision of all of Konoha bathed in blood, corpses of shinobi, their bodies and parts scattered everywhere, while above he is seen with a dark smile and his image being tortured in thousands of ways, and for the first time he felt intimidated and began to sweat profusely. While when he saw it he undid his ocular power, returning everything to normal. Ibiki, well, I won't waste my time on fools like you. Now listen to the brats who stayed quiet during all this. You better have answered completely because your time to answer a question is over. And listen now. I'm going to put another special rule. These rules are only for question 10. I want you to listen carefully and try not to get scared, he said seriously. After a few seconds of awkward silence where things relaxed, Ibiki found the time to start talking, saying the following while observing all the participants and saying, Ibiki, each of you is free to choose whether or not to answer the question 10. It was clear, insolent brats. he said seriously while one of them spoke, saying the following, and this was none other than the blonde. Temari, wow, so what's the challenge? Let's say we don't want to participate, then what happens? She said somewhat hesitantly, like the rest of those present, while he speaks while he tells them the following. Ibiki, if you decide not to answer question 10 regardless of the answers to the other 9, you get a 0, in other words, you fail, and that means your classmates also fail. There were several murmurs about how stupid it sounded since no one would leave of their own free will, and they would continue, but he spoke again, saying the following. Ibiki, not so fast, it's not over yet. If you accept the question but answer it incorrectly, you will not only fail, you will lose the opportunity to take the Chunin exam ever, he said loudly to the horror of many of those present. Kiba, hey, what's wrong, old man? There are ninjas here who have presented this before, he said furiously, like some of those present who were equally frustrated to hear his words. Ibiki just gave a deep laugh and said, let's just say they have bad luck. Like I said before, if they don't want to take a risk, they shouldn't. If they don't think they have the confidence, they can just drop out and try again next year. Nadia, we can't miss any option. Both are stupid and would slow us all down. And if someone fails, not only him but us too, she thought, looking at Minma. Ibiki, now if you are ready, here comes question 10, and then, if you want to leave, just raise your hand and you will be erased, and you will be free to leave, he said seriously while looking at them. Everyone was making stupid conclusions about what would happen. This was very difficult for everyone, but really everyone was getting frustrated about what would happen, since the option to continue told them that if they made a mistake here they would end up like ninjas without being able to ascend, and this was killing them inside. Slinger, but how pathetic are those who are doubting whether to be here or not. As it seems, none of you have the will to be a ninja. Doubting is something that a ninja never does. Doubting the most difficult decisions is something that a ninja should not do. We have a duty and to face great challenges and big decisions at the moment, and never doubt. Those who do so do not deserve to be here. I am staying because I came to continue in this exam, and I definitely will not leave here. What can you say to that? Mr. Ibiki said with a smile. While everyone began to gain confidence with the green-haired man's words of encouragement, several ninjas who would have retired anyway began to lower their hands and began to get excited about being able to participate in this test. Even if they didn't advance in rank, they would still try. Ibiki, this brat not only managed to intimidate me but also managed to encourage many of those present. Without a doubt, he is someone who truly earned my respect. He even used reverse psychology so that many of them would not leave, something quite clever, he thought, looking at how everyone present was. Temari, Slinger-kun is admirable, he is strong and now he has motivated everyone, he has also motivated me now. I love him much more than I already want to be stronger to be a great kunoichi, protect my brothers and be with you, I thought, blushing, looking at the boy. Ibiki, wow, I must admire your determination. For those who stayed, there is only one thing I must say, that all of you passed the exam, he said, giving a silly smile in his last sentence. Hinata, what just happened? How is that? Where is the 10th question? The Hyuga girl said angrily but somewhat confused, like some who stare at her. Ibiki, the 10th question never existed or was just unwritten. In fact, his devotion to stay was the answer to the 10th question, he said happily while looking at them. 10, wait a moment, the other 9 questions were just to kill time, is that what you're saying? She said angrily and surprised. Ibiki, quite the contrary, those questions had something very important to do. Testing their ability to intelligently and stealthily track strategic information under the most adverse circumstances. Well, my point is to test them, not only individually, but as a team and how they function as a team. That's why the exam is evaluated as a team. That way, everyone finds out what they do and whether they fail or not and how it affects their team. I wanted to see how they handled the pressure, he said seriously.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.